Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. I'm back with my man Glenn in the house, and that title literally sums up what our season has been about. A few months of Arteta out, a few months of Arteta in, a few months of okay, he will work, a few months of he cannot work, a few months of he's not the quality, a few months of he can't be the man, a few months of he has the potential, and lots and lots. So that's what we're gonna dive into on this stream. And we're going to briefly try to evaluate the manager, the team, and of course the Everton game. We are all going to do that in this stream. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and also get involved in the in the comment section below. It massively helps out. Glenn, we've beaten Everton 5-0 to end the season. We always beat clubs at the end of the season in the final day. This is game number 13 actually, that we've won in a row at the Emirates Stadium on the last day. And we literally do not lose on the last day. Good performance, but it has come too late. Nonso.
It has come too late. Like, look at us. You wouldn't know that you've just come from winning a Premier League game by 5 goals. You would not guess. If someone just came to earth right now, they would not think that Arsenal just won a game by 5 goals. We've left it too late. And as I told you before we started that game, don't be surprised if Arsenal score 7 or 8 goals today, because that's just what happens when we have no pressure and everything is done. I'm very sure if we still had a chance to qualify for the Champions League, if Tottenham are behind us today, we would not have won that game by 5 goals. I just don't know. Yes, you can say it's because they didn't really play everyone, Everton and all that, but I mean, every time we went forward, we looked like we were going to score. It wasn't that way against Newcastle and Tottenham and those other teams. So we came so close yet again. Reminds me of the Emirates season where we were so close with 2-3 games remaining. Reminds me of the Chelsea Europa League final, another season where we've come so close. But we have to try harder next season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, we're going to talk about the reasons as why I think this Arsenal club should should be given another chance. I know many people are going to tell me, Cossy, this is Mikel Arteta's third season, but I think to reach at this point when we still have some little hope, to reach the final day when we still have some little hope, that is also an achievement. Because let's be clear, when Arsene Wenger left, by the time Arsene Wenger left this the stage, we were no longer assured winners of top 4. Do you agree with me?
Yeah. By the time he left, for 2 seasons before that, we were really struggling, especially away from home.
Yeah, so we were no longer assured winners of the top 4. When Unai Emery, came in, I think Emery did not try to heal us. Emery tried to take us back to where we were by just trying to do a couple of panel beating, which terribly failed. And that is when Mikel Arteta actually came in. So let's start off with Mikel. And the question I'm first going to ask you is, do you think he's really done an incredible job with this team? Do you think any manager who would come in after Mikel Arteta, if he was sacked today, do you think he would find a great foundation? He would find a better foundation than that left by Wenger and Unai Emery?
Yeah, I think they would find a better foundation. Has he done incredible? I wouldn't choose the word incredible or brilliant. Yeah. I think that would be an exaggeration. I'd say he's done okay. That is the word. He's done okay. If someone came right now, I definitely want to play for this Arsenal side. I remember 2 years ago, I think you asked me about Arsenal, and I said I wouldn't even want to play for Arsenal if I was a player, and I'm an Arsenal fan at that time. Yeah. Right now, I feel like, maybe they could be going somewhere. I wouldn't mind playing for Arsenal. But 2 years ago, we had over 100 problems. Problems with ownership, problems with the goalkeeper, problems with the midfielders, problems with the strikers, with the right wing, left wing. We had so many problems. We couldn't defend from set pieces. I think some of those problems have been solved this season. I've seen some improvements, like we went for 36 game weeks without conceding from a corner until recently against Tottenham. We have only conceded from 2 corners this season. We are still struggling in terms of getting goals. Like during Wenger's period, we used to get 70, 75 goals. This period, like the last 2-3 years, we've been struggling to get a lot of goals. Totally, we only score like 60, 50, less than 60 goals every single season. Defensively, surprisingly, last season was better than this season in terms of numbers. This
yeah,
season,
and you can and what is interesting is that this season we've been a little bit more organized. You can see that we've been not a little bit, we've been very organized defensively, and I think I might even argue that this season we have shown more defensive solidity than any of the past seasons I can remember, probably in the last 10 years.
Yeah, but surprisingly, we still ended up conceding more goals. Now, some things come into consideration, like 9 of those goals were in the first 3 games of the season, before Tomiyasu was an Arsenal player, before Ramsdale was playing, before Thomas Partey was fit. All those 9 of those goals came before we started playing these newer players. And most of them have come against the bigger clubs, the Man United, the Tottenhams, the Liverpools. But in terms of foundation, I think it would be a better foundation. Definitely is a better foundation than the last couple of years. We've gotten rid of most of the players that we didn't want here, but you definitely still need to do more now. We've made progress. I know it feels very bad that we've not gotten top 4. It feels worse that it's Tottenham getting. As I said, if it was Liverpool, we wouldn't care. But since it's Tottenham getting, it hurts, because obviously the Conte, Arteta, all that will come up. But I think it's I would definitely want to play for Arsenal right now. I think he's left a better foundation for this season.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he's going to get sacked. Remember, lads, Mikel signed a 3-year deal till 2025. 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, right? So that could be around 3.5, 4 years on. So he's still around there. And, so let's get to the appraisal now. Let's get to the appraisal. We'll forget about the first 1.5 year that he started, because last year he finished 8th, and you could see what he was trying to do. It was a phase where he was trying to clear out. In the first year, I think no manager, for me, in my opinion, no manager would do better, especially if you're starting your own project. Because when he came in and took on that job after Unai Emery, he found the club in a total mess, a total disaster. You look at the wage bill, you look at the players we had, you look at the age bracket, you look at the player power in the dressing room, you look at the disaster that we were in, and you just feel like, because personally I used to get really angry with them, and I could shout a lot of Arteta out, but at the back of my mind there was something like, he's trying to clear out this deadwood. And it's going to take time, because many of our players were on high wages, and because they were so bad, no one wanted to buy them. I'm not lying. Everybody knows. No one wanted to buy Arsenal players. How many players have we sold ever since Mikel came out and started that clear out phase? Probably Guendouzi. We could sell Saliba, you can see. But the likes of Socrates Papastopoulos, the likes of Mesut Ozil, the likes of Kolasinac, no one was ever. In Mustafi, no one was ever going to buy them. So this season, I think this is the real season to start Mikel Arteta's appraisal, right? Demanding him and asking of him, what exactly is that? Because he spent 150 million plus in the summer to lay the foundation and do everything. So would you say he's done it? Would you say, because according to Vinay and the Cronkies, he has overachieved, right? I think they expected him to finish maybe 6th. So do you feel he's overachieved? Do you think he has hit the target, and we are moving in the right positive direction?
We have hit our target. No one expected us to finish. Our target was get back to Europe. That was our target. Our target only changed after we realized, wow, we can actually get top 4. That's when our target changed. Even in the January transfer window, when you didn't sign anyone, I think that they looked at it like, you know what? We only have one competition to play in the Premier League,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're not going to finish below the top six, surely. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe looking at it, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe you should have gone full throttle to get that top four. But they've definitely hit their target. And for us, we expected to finish we actually said we are going to finish fifth, both of us, and we finished fifth. So we finished where we thought we were going to finish, not where we wanted to finish, but where we expected Arsenal to finish. But obviously, the way the season has gone, with United not playing well, with Tottenham, obviously, before they got Conte, they had a disaster. And even with Conte, there's a time, like in March, where they drew with Brentford, they lost to Brighton as well. So we had another chance then, but we bottled it. So that's the word, yeah. The way we've bottled it. If we finished fifth, like 10 points behind Tottenham, that would feel better than finishing 2 points behind. And that would be like, you know what? Yes, the fifth, 10 points clear. We are not never going to finish in the top four.
Yeah.
But right now, we really had potentially the biggest chance we've had since not qualifying for the Champions League again. Like, this is the biggest chance we've had. So I think we've definitely hit our target. Our target was getting back to European football, and we have. But right now, it's definitely going to be here anyway. So.
Yeah, he's gonna be here. You know why I asked you that is because there's been kind of mixed feelings, and we've lost track of whether we have underachieved or we have not, we have not just achieved a target that we were never even expected to hit. Those are two very different levels. Have we underachieved? I don't think we have underachieved. I think for any team in our place, a team that is trying to get out players on high wages, a team that is trying to bring in players on low wages and can do the job, a team that has been the youngest in the league this season, and potentially it could be the youngest in the league next season. It will depend. With all that put into consideration, with all that in mind, I don't think we've underachieved. The reason as to why I was ranting Arteta out at the beginning of the season, because I couldn't stand to see another season where Arsenal are challenging, to finish eighth. I couldn't really. And this season, to be honest, we have spent in the fourth position quite a lot of time that many people started feeling it is ours. It should be ours. And the moment it was not ours, now it's not really done well. But I mean, let us know in the comment section, what do you think with Mikel? Are you Arteta in? Are you Arteta out? And do you to some extent feel that what he has done as a manager up to this point is moving us in the right direction? Putting into perspective everything he has done. So let's get to the players now, because he brought in 6 players in the summer. He has around 8 signings of his, right? Because 6 in the summer, Partey and Gabriel. I think that's
you
it,
can
right?
Throw in the likes of Cedric.
Now, I will not count the likes of Cedric, because by the time he came in, the likes of Cedric, Pablo Mari, they had come on a January transfer on loan, and then they were made permanent.
Yeah, they were made permanent. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will not count those. I think those were kind of emergency signings that, because it was so bad. When he came in, it was literally so bad. So I won't count those ones. I will talk about the players that I think he feels are literally part of his project. And of course, Cedric has really played a big part in this, in this season. But do you think the signings have worked? Do you think we should trust him more going forward with what we've seen with our transfer business? Because Partey, apart from being injury prone, which he has actually picked up with at Arsenal, he wasn't very injury prone at Atletico Madrid. And as someone, I was doing a live stream last year, and someone told me, no, Cossy, do not waste time with Partey. He has cheated the age limit. He's 45, and I just laughed at it. But do you think Arteta's done well, in terms of handling Arsenal transfer business?
The first video hosted on this channel a week ago, I talked, not a week ago, after we lost to Newcastle the next day. I talked about 5 reasons why we've overachieved and 5 reasons why we've underachieved. And one of the overachievement reasons was the signings. When these signings came in, let's be honest, we can go one by one. We'll do a player ratings with Cossy about all these players probably tomorrow. But if we talk about all those 6 players, let's start with the goalkeeper. When Ramsdale came in, oh my goodness, that guy had to block his comments on Twitter, on Instagram until today because of how much abuse he got from Arsenal fans and rival fans. People thought he was a joke. It was a joke signing this guy. So Ramsdale has definitely overachieved. That has been a good signing. For only like 28 million that we paid for him, that feels like good business. When Tomiyasu came in on deadline day, we were all crying, like, where is Awar? Where is a midfielder? Where is Bruno? Where is Bruno Guimaraes? Where is Bissouma? Why are we signing Tomiyasu? Who is Tomiyasu? The guy from Sky Sports cover, I think.
He said, Sky Cover said, literally, Arsenal brought in someone who they do not know where he plays.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for the injury, if he had played the entire season and missed like 3 games, I would have been giving him a 9 out of 10 this season. I think it's been absolutely brilliant, Tomiyasu. In terms of Ben White, maybe it's not worth 50 million. People will definitely give him a lot of accusation and blame him for a lot. But if you don't listen to the pundits, the Michael Owens and all this, Owen Hargreaves, the Man United and Tottenham fans who are talking about Arsenal, and some of the Arsenal fans who are really, really critical, if you look at it and watch all 38 games this season, Ben White has been okay. He's not been 50 million pounds worthy, but he's been okay. It's better than having Mustafi behind there. As Cossy has mentioned several times, he's leading in terms of very, very many stats. And we've kept clean sheets this season.
Yeah, talking about Ben, and this is what I don't get with Arsenal fans for me. Ben White this season has, I can't point out the Brentford game at the beginning of the season. That game where he was unfit against Newcastle, really unfit. Probably and 1 or 2 other games where, you've seen him really, really, exposed because, as a weak defender, right? But I don't see him as a weak defender. Personally, when we were signing him, I said the only problem is that he has only played 1 season in the Premier League. And and why I love my community here is that they always tell you, because he's Premier League proven, but he's played only 1 season in the Premier League, right? And I told them we've got to give them time. We've got to give him time. The good thing is, he's not coming from abroad. I've looked at Troops's reaction to Ben White, and the word he uses is, he says, "Bro, the lad is shit." I've looked at Curtis Shaw reacting to Ben White, and the reaction is the same. I don't remember. Look, I also have a tweet where I think Anas fan says, looking at this new jersey on Ben White, that is the worst thing I can have in a day. Honestly, the kit is not nice, especially the collar, the pattern on the collar.
I don't like it.
I don't like the kit. Nobody likes the kit, I think, but some of the people have convinced me that the kit is good, and I promise I'll get it. But I don't think it's a very, very good kit, not compared to this, honestly.
Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we get the black away kit because it's so dope.
Listen, even if we play shirtless, as long as we get Champions League next season, I'll be happy. Even if we play shirtless, but I definitely get your point on Ben White.
Yeah,
I do not agree with anyone who says Ben White is a crap player. I do not agree. You'll have to convince me really much that he's a bad player. People will overreact. You've mentioned 2 games,
and there is nothing statistically to suggest that he's a bad player. I want to thank Tom Canton. He's one of my favorite YouTube creators, and he's now working with Football London, and he just painted the picture for me and told me, Cossy, you go and look at the statistics of Ben White and compare him with Gabriel, and you will see what I'm talking about. And when I went to SofaScore and I compared the 2 of them, statistically, he has better statistics than any defender in he's played with at Arsenal this season.
There's a lot that we look at defenders, and you mentioned them when we were signing Ben White. You've mentioned those 2 maybe games that were not so good. Yes, you can mention people were also going on him when he gave away a penalty against Leeds, the game we won 5-1 back in December when he fouled, I don't know who, and then Rafinha scored the penalty. If you look at the entire season in general, you cannot say Ben White has been a terrible player. You can, if I was to ask you to sell 10 Arsenal players, you'd be crazy if you include him in that 10. Like he's there's so many qualities.
It's not 10. If you we have 19, we have a squad of 19 players. If you told them to do a keep or sell. I know Curtis Shaw will do a keep or sell, and I will watch it. And if he doesn't say that Ben White out, I mean, bro, because for me, look, I don't get it when people do not want a player but try to say that he's not good enough, right? A player being 50 million, for example, look, Pepe is not 70 million, right? But Pepe, that doesn't take away some of the beautiful attributes Pepe has as a player. He's not worked out at Arsenal, but that doesn't make him the worst player in the world. Now, some people don't like Ben White just as a player because he's 50 million, and probably they lost the debate to Manchester United fans because they brought in Ralph everyone, and when they compare him to probably.
So I have a question before you go on. Who has been better this season, Varane or White? Because that is what was
absolutely Ben White. Absolutely Ben White.
Exactly. So I don't understand as well.
You remember when we were talking about in the summer, and I said, Ben White, one of the things you're going to get about from him, reliability and durability. He's going to play for you 38 games in a campaign. He's going to play for you 35 and above. And this campaign, he's played more than 33. I mean, how many games has he missed? How many games has he missed?
He missed a couple because of COVID sometime. And that is a problem with everyone. If those 38 games you mentioned as well, discipline is the other thing we talked about. Discipline. How many Arsenal players have picked up red cards this season? Ben White has picked up 2 yellow cards the entire season.
I just don't get the debate. I just don't. It's not even a debate. It's a ridiculous, agenda. It's an agenda, Glenn. It's not a debate. The Ben White saga is an agenda that has no basis for me. It literally has no basis for me. Look, you don't like a player, but you acknowledge, the good in him. That's what I did with Mikel. I mean, people called me hypocrite and everything, but it's what I did with Mikel. I said I think the first time I spoke about Mikel on another person's channel was on Harry Simeo, and I said, look, he's got nothing to offer. There is no identity. There is nothing that Arsenal show. This we have no identity. And he said, look, you're absolutely right. And there boom, this season we got an identity. We became, we know how we play. We know our first 11. We know how the team is going to set out. I said that in my match reaction today, that if you look at the positives we picked up this season, 9 or 7 of our regular players, we know them, right? You know Tomiyasu, you know Ben White, you know Gabriel, you know Ramsdale, you know Odegaard, you know Xhaka. I think Xhaka has been more actually durable than Thomas Partey. Right, you know Martinelli or Smith. Well, the striker we do not know because I expect them to be packing their bags right now. Honestly, all of them. So to be true, the agendas that fans have at times don't make sense. I've ever had an agenda on a player like Xhaka. I have an agenda on Xhaka. Honestly, there are times when he plays well and I don't say it. Honestly, I just look at the statistics and I'm like, wow, he played well. Yeah, and that's why I love SofaScore. At times I look at the statistics, I'm like, okay, he was man of the match, really. He really played well. But I never say it because at times, you're blinded by that agenda. But Ben White has been, for me, absolutely fine this season. And it's just going to get better. So we need to know that.
So Ramsdale has been okay. Tomiyasu has been okay. Ben White has been okay. When we signed Tavares and Lokonga, no one said these guys are going to come and replace Partey and Tini. They are going to play as backup. And as we said as well that time, it's good that we are signing these young players. So if it doesn't work out, at least we can sell them. It's not like a Willian or such kind of a player. When if they play badly, they're already 65 years old. They are not going to sell them anyway. So these players are young. So we said if it doesn't work out with these players, we can sell them. But it's been one season. And Tavares at the beginning of the campaign, he was okay. But obviously, you've seen a lot of mistakes recently. Mm-hmm. But in terms of that, maybe that was an average signing for now. Lokonga, obviously, the second part of the season, we've not even seen him play. And then Odegaard has been absolute class, man. Like, when I check the team, I'm seeing Odegaard playing. I'm like, yeah, we can actually create something today. Obviously, he has a few things he needs to improve on. But all these players who came in, we've seen things that you didn't even expect from them. No one knew Ramsdale's character, like his attitude, his leadership ability. None of us knew that. We never talked about him being that. We never knew Odegaard could be potential captain right away in his first season. We never knew that. We were asking for Maddison. We were asking for all these players. So in terms of all those signings put together, I'd actually give it an 8 out of 10. I think this is one of the best transfer windows we ever had. Maybe we needed more, but the ones who came in, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact we also have to put in, in consideration here, it's not me being deluded, is that this we 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 have no right, and these players have no right to take us in the top four debate. Or we have no right. Like Saka from the academy, Odegaard 30 million, Lokonga and Nuno Tavares and Cedric. These players absolutely have no right to be up there. And if they are, they deserve a mention. They literally deserve a mention. I won't say keep them. I won't say keep all of them. You know, the ones that I've said that need to go on for me need to go. But these players were never, ever, you know, we never had to depend on them for top four. And the moment that we've turned into dependence on them for top four, you give them massive credit. You really, really give them massive credit. So the other that is about the transfer window, and you've not answered my question. So does that mean that we can trust him now with can he be our Kylian Mbappe, because Mbappe is going to be literally sporting director at PSG? So do we trust him with our transfers? Do we trust him now that he can do whatever he wants with the transfer market?
I mean, I trust them with the transfers. I mean, it's not like they signed someone in January and it turned out bad. It's just because they didn't sign anyone in January. But the last transfer window is okay. So, and we said we are going to give them the next transfer window as well, because they signed good players. And then if you add in the likes of Martinelli, who was signed by Edu, I think the signings have been great. 80% of them have been great. Obviously, there are some others that you'd say, you know what, why did we give Cedric a new contract? Maybe Pablo Mari, what's the situation with him? Did we ever need him? There could be those under Edu and under Arteta, some of them. But in terms of signings, they've done well, and I'll definitely see what I trust them to do. If we get another 6 players like the ones we got from last time and a bit of more, obviously, experience, then we can go somewhere. So I trust them, yes.
Okay. So that's it. The manager, the transfer window done well. Organizing the team and bringing back the spirit. I think he's really done that. By the way, I'm one Arsenal fan who. I think the channel has also helped him very much, but I was starting to really feel Arsenal as a pain. And I know many Arsenal fans has started to feel like that. Do you know that this year I've like out of 24 hours, around 20 hours I'm in an Arsenal jersey.
Feel proud to write again. I've enjoyed the season as well.
Yeah. I feel very proud to put on the Arsenal kit and move about. And everybody says, "Oh, how can you put an Arsenal kit, especially in my country?" I'm like, I'm fine. I'm definitely fine. I can put, and I have so many kits. Some are soaked in water, some on the wall, some on others on, and I love them. And I just love my kids. I think he's brought back the fans, and he's brought back that because sport is all about challenging. Sport is all about feeling that you're competing for something, right? That spirit had gone, especially that the fact that I think we had lost it so far, so long ago, that we had lost touch with the top three. And something had made us sure winners of the top. There was no competition there. At times we could fight with Spurs, but we could definitely win it. And from that, we became non-competitors. There was no competition where you thought Arsenal were providing any quality, any kind of quality of competition. And in the end, I'm not gonna lie, lads, I feel like after all that has happened, Mikel has brought back the fans. He's just done it. He's just made us come back to. He's just made us come back to to the team and feel it's our team, and feel that it's a team that we need to support and love, and definitely, honestly, lads, I love Arsenal now. I can't lie. I love my club. We are definitely doing very, very well. Hit the like button for me. Get involved. Do you think Mikel leaves, or do you think Mikel should stay after the season? We have gone back to the UEFA we've gone back to Europe, where he actually put us out. But we're gonna talk about that back in Europe. But we are also back challenging for the top four. So has he done well, or has he not done the job that you would have wanted him to do? Right. So we've been talking about the transfer windows that is done with Glenn and his appraisal, in general. But my problem with him this season, and I don't know if I do not know if I don't know if any of you have the same problem with him. My problem with him this season has been a plan B. And it's scary, right? At times it's very, very scary when you have a manager who doesn't have a plan B. Look, for me, as a manager, always and always, you've got to have a plan B, right? Look, there are games that could have taken us to the UEFA Champions League, and it was the tactical, failure that actually failed us. For example, look at the Tottenham game. The Tottenham game, the Newcastle game, for me, it is failure tactically. It is tactical failure that we do not win those games, and we do not get anything out of them. So a plan B is one thing that he really needs to work out. You cannot win games only by possessing and passing the ball around. At times it's gonna be different. At times you've got to go for a defensive structure. At times you've got to go to sit in a low block and get your enemies or opponents, which are always enemies on a break. At times you have to do things differently, right? Burnley this season, it ended 0-0, but we literally were playing around Burnley's structure. We failed to break them down. So that has been my key problem with him this season. He has found his 11. He has stuck to his 11. He has found the right tactics and the right identity and how he wants his team to play. But what he has definitely failed to do for me is to find that plan B, probably a plan C as well. You cannot play in the same way all the time. You've got to find ways of winning games. You've got to find other ways of winning games. We've seen it with Liverpool under Klopp. We've seen it with Manchester City under Pep Guardiola, and we've seen it so much with the Real Madrid this season under Carlo Ancelotti. Good managers have a plan B. Good managers have a thought. A thought. Probably it could be coming from the lack of squad depth. Because when you take off Saka, it's always Pepe. When you take off Martinelli, it's always Smith Rowe. So probably if he gets the numbers, if he gets more players, if he gets other players out there, then it would work better. But the plan B needs to be worked on, because in every stage of this game, in every stage of this project, he's gonna be the manager, and he's gonna be around. He's gonna stick around to see that we see it through. So he's got to find a plan B. And of course, I also believe as a novice manager, he's still developing. So we cannot really just we can't expect him to have to have learned everything and to implement it at once. Some things he's learning on the job, other things and he has not even learned, and look, if you're Arteta out on this show, hit the like button for me and let me know in the chat. If you're Arteta out, I understand you, I hear you. I was there before, and I am not really attacking attacking people who are Mikel Arteta out, just like I didn't attack people who are Mikel Arteta in then. The reason as to why I don't want to do that is people who are Mikel Arteta out. If you hear the reasons, they're absolutely right. They'll tell you that he took Arsenal out of the top four, out of Europe last season by finishing 8th, and he's just taken us back. So literally, for them, he's done nothing. And you hear them. If he found Arsenal out of Europe and took us back to Europe, that would be a very different story. But literally he has he has found us he found us in Europe, not in the top 4, in Europe, took us out of it and brought us back in. Yeah, you might argue this and that here and there, but that was his blame that we were out of the top 4. But of course, you remember the kind of squad he had and the amount of work that he had to do. So anyway, Mikel Arteta outers, talk to me. If you're Mikel Arteta out right now, talk to me. Right now, I'm standing. I'm not standing in the middle. I don't like standing in the middle, but I'll give him some time, right? I'm next season, at least until January. But I'm on the view. I'm on the side that says, let's give him time and see, right? I'm not yet convinced that he's the manager that wins Arsenal our fourth Premier League title. I'm not yet convinced that he's the manager that wins Arsenal our first Champions League. I'm not yet convinced that he's the manager that wins Arsenal our first Europa League title. I'm not yet convinced. But I'm convinced with the little kind of work he's done that sooner or later, Arsenal might benefit from whichever kind of work he's doing. So the other point on the other point Mikel Arteta out has have, apart from the fact that he took us out of the UEFA Champions and UEFA out of the UEFA competitions and took us back, is that Arsenal should be challenging at the top. Now that is not Mikel Arteta's problem at the moment. That is not Mikel's problem at the moment. Listen, I know Mikel directly works with the transfer board and center and all the people that deal with transfers, at Arsenal. But why I strongly have a strong feeling that Arsenal not challenging at a top level is not Mikel Arteta's problem. Listen to me, lads. Mikel came in at this Arsenal side. When he came in, we were not challenging at a top level. We were not. Yes, we played a Europa League final, and that's what many people saying, Unai Emery has done better than Mikel because Unai Emery played a Europa League final. He didn't win it. We didn't win it. We were actually absolutely humiliated. And the final that he played in the FA Cup, he won. And I don't want to allude to that because it's way back in history, and we need to do better. Okay, but Arteta, as a manager, one of his jobs is to take us back to, is to make sure that his side, is challenging at the top most level. That is his role. Make sure that we're challenging at the top level, at the topmost level. But listen, do not make a mistake by thinking a manager who has found you in the mud, right, owes you anything by, yes, he's in the job, but he doesn't owe you anything at the moment, right? It doesn't owe you anything. You've got to give him time to get his project right and back him right if you've decided that he's going to be the manager like we've done for the next 3-4 years. So we should be challenging at the top level. Yes, I hear you, and that's why you want Mikel Arteta out. But Wenger and Unai Emery left this club in a very bad situation. And for me, the fact that he's managed to just keep us in around the top four, in around that debate, I'm grateful. Honestly, I'm 100% grateful. So the basis on which he signed the new contract, I think, was you have achieved the targets. You've really achieved the targets, so you can stay. And that is not his problem, right? He doesn't hire himself. He doesn't extend his contract. It is not his problem that the Cronkies have decided, you get to stay and you get to be here in the first place. And you look at the spokesman of the Cronkies, Vinay Venkatesham. Oh, we have overachieved. We have literally overachieved, and that means that whatever we do, whichever kind of thing we do, Arsenal and the Arsenal board feel, this is a lot of success. Now, if you have owners like that, it is so hard to blame the manager at the end of the season. If it was Roman Abramovich, we would say, okay, Mikel, you've failed. You have Kai Havertz, you have Romelu Lukaku, you have Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, you've failed. But the Cronkies told him, no, you instead of signing Koulibaly, you'll sign Gabriel. Instead of signing this, you'll sign this one. And in the end, it has worked out for the Cronkies because they finally got someone who can, sell us their bullshit, in the end of the day, and, it looks good. Of course, not for long. Next season, I want him to be in the top 4. There's no question. I want him to be in the top 4 because the competition definitely is not going to go away, right? We are not going to wait for when the competition goes away. The competition is not gonna go away. But overall, let's agree, lads. Overall, he's not been that bad, has he? I mean, talk to me, Arsenal fans, in the chat room. Talk to me. This is your stream. Talk to me. Has he been that bad? Hit the like button for me as well. Thanks everybody. Arteta is a performer. He will deliver come next season, says Edison. All right. Francis says, hi, bro. Thanks for the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Francis. Ivan says, Cossy, we are trusting the process of Mikel, but let the likes of Laka, Eddie, El Neni, and others go to give room to other new players to come in. Bangura Ibrahim says, Arteta out. And I said, if you're Arteta in, if you're Arteta out on this show, you're absolutely welcome, because it is an Arsenal end of season chat show. It's where we share the opinions that, I think it's kind of summation of our our feelings throughout the season. It's been a very, very hard season. We have not had a season like Liverpool. We've not had a season like Manchester City, because for those lads, their season has been quite easy. Very hard, but quite easy as supporters. Just make sure that your team wins, and their teams have won almost every game, right? It's not the same. It's absolutely not the same with Arsenal. For us, it has been very, very difficult. So if you're Arteta out, if you're Arteta in, I hear you, and I absolutely respect you very, very highly. Okay. Thanks for the show. Thank you so much, Francis, for watching in. Cossy, we are trusting the process. Okay, good there. All right. Patrick says, why Arteta out? Be reasonable. Now, the question here, the question in that title, that's a question. That is not a statement. That's a question. I'm trying to bring about the debate, whether that debate is still any valid. If you feel it is still valid, well and good. If you feel it is no longer valid, well and good as well. So Glenn is back as well. Are you back?
I am. The laptop refused to connect to StreamYard. I'm not sure why, so I'll try and get it up. But I've been hearing what you have to say. I've been hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, I've talked about the plan B, and that was the part I was going to ask you about, the tactics. That, I mean, it's very hard to evaluate a manager's tactics, especially if you're going to keep him long term, but you have to talk about it. Tactically, what has Mikel Arteta been convincing this season for you? Because for me, this season, there are games where I felt like, yes, tactically he got this right, utter domination and things like that. And there are games we lost and I thought he got it right tactically. Liverpool, the second leg, and Manchester City, New Year's Day. He got that tactically right? You work harder than City. You suffocate them. You run in behind them. You expose their high line and things like that. He got those games right, although he lost them. So tactically this season, has he been that impressive to you? Has he been the manager you feel tactically he's been good?
I mean, not as impressive as to make you feel like, wow, you have the next Guardiola or the next Ancelotti, nothing like that. But you're very right. There's some games where we were okay, but some games where you have to ask yourself why. Tactically and also player positioning. There's a game where we played Jacques at left back instead of Tavares, like such kind of stuff. But there's a couple of positions where I don't see what else we would have done. Like if it doesn't work out with Odegaard, like we only had Odegaard, maybe Smith Rowe sometimes, but he's been injured as well this season sometimes. Like if it doesn't work out with Saka on the right, do you really play Pepe? So there's some positions where we didn't really have anything to do. Like for Cedric to play, Cedric has to play because we don't have anyone else to play in Tomiyasu's side unless we play Ben White at right back and then you're having to play Holding and Gabriel. Some positions is not really had anything to do. But if you look at games like Burnley, we should really have won those kind of games. Now you've said there's some games where you feel like we've played very well or tactically was good, but he still lost. There's a couple of games where he tried what we wanted him to try, like Odegaard. There's a game he played Odegaard and Smith Rowe in midfield, and then Partey by himself, and then he played with Saka. and Martinelli and Lacazette up front. I really wanted to see that in some games, which he did. We played both games against Burnley with that formation. We also played one game at home against that formation, but surprisingly, it didn't work. Positioning was okay, the players were okay, players many attacking players as we can against Burnley, and we were missing a lot of chances. Like a game like Burnley, I can't really blame it on Arteta because he created like 20 chances and Lacazette missed like 2 open goals and stuff like that. So
but why I would definitely blame it at times. Actually, that is the reason. That's why I would blame it on Mikel. Is if you see what Madrid, if you look at some of the performances of Real Madrid this season, the times when they've been so dominant, and the times when they've been very, very dominated, right? And then you can see Carlo Ancelotti tweaking one or two things. Like you've seen Guardiola today. Guardiola bringing on Ike Gundogan for me was the difference. So as a manager, you need to have that special button, and I think he doesn't have it. But generally, with Burnley, you've got to dominate them, and he was right, with the initial plan. But at times, that second button, that emergency button, that button that goes, okay, this has failed. Can we just crack it in this way? He lacks that.
Did you really have players to do it from the bench though sometimes?
I don't think he has. Honestly, the squad depth, I've talked about the squad depth as well. I don't think with Arsenal you have a lot of options to change a game, especially, midway.
You definitely did not. But yeah, they obviously do agree with you. Sometimes he makes some decisions where you're like, why did he do that? Like scoring one. There's a time he scored 1 goal and then he moved to a defensive formation. Yeah, sometimes you have to ask, like, why didn't you go for the second goal?
Was that Crystal Palace? Was that Palace? Was that Brighton? Crystal Palace?
We scored first against Crystal Palace, back when we had Aubameyang.
And we just gave up, and we started with time wastage.
Yeah, I remember. And then they scored 2 goals, and then we quickly tried to score ours, and we scored the last minute. So you have to ask yourself, like, why didn't we do this for the entire game?
Yeah.
So you had asked me about the new signings. We did Ramsdale, Tavares, Lokonga, Odegaard, Tomiyasu. Very, very good signings. So I'm really waiting to see. This transfer window will be very, very interesting to see what they do, man. Very interesting.
Yeah, look, I think he's already talked about it in the recent press conference. We need players. He said he wants players with quality, and then he says he doesn't want players only in 19, 18, and 20s, but he wants players with experience. And he said he does not have unlimited resources, but he has resources available. So we hope that the resources are there, and he's really going to use them very, very well. But if you compare us to Man United and Spurs, where would you say we've had the better campaign than them, or would you say they have had the better campaign than us, especially United?
Oh, we've had a way better campaign than Man United, like miles away from them. When United signed all those players, I thought people said United were going to challenge for the league. Yeah. People said United are definitely going to be in the top 3, top 2 there, and people said Arsenal are going to finish 8th. So in terms of comparing us to Man United, we've definitely. How many points have we finished ahead of them? Like 11 or something. That is a lot. Like the gap, by the way, from 5th to 6th is, I think, more than 10 points. I've not checked.
They finished with 58. They are finished with 58.
And now 69. So 11 points. We finished 11 points ahead of them. So we're actually 11 points ahead of 6th. Do with that what you want. I mean, does that mean we only have 4 teams to compete with? Tottenham and Chelsea, maybe those 2 teams. But I know United are going to improve next season. So in terms of comparing with United, we've definitely achieved better than them. In terms of signings, what people expected from Ronaldo, Sancho, and Varane is way more than what people expected from Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, and Ben White. But I think our signings, apart from Ronaldo, have done better than all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Spurs, do you think? I mean, where would you rate us and Spurs?
Wow, interesting. Spurs, if you look at it, the entire season, they've done better than us. I think the January transfer window really, really helped them. I think that was the difference. That January transfer window really, really quite helped them. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, very well.
Spurs, there's a couple of times where they've had a shocker. Like they thought they were going to definitely win the Conference League. Obviously, things happened. They lost a couple of games where they shouldn't have against it. There was it like Mura or something. They lost against a team called Mura or something like that. They thought they were going to go further. There's even a time they thought they were going to finally win a cup when they were in the semi-final of a couple of trophies. They thought they were going to win the cups. But in terms of the league, considering they finished seventh last season, they've had a better season than us because they've clinched that top four. If we had like won a trophy or something, then we'd have had a better season than them. But for them, I think they've had a better season than last. So I think they've had better on for than us. So 100%.
All right. So lads, I'm one of those people who are very, very positive that, if Mikel can actually keep, doing better, we are in with the right man. Arteta in, but we need players with winning spirit, not those who win 3 matches and lose 3. It's a shame to Mikel. Yeah, I mean, absolute shambles, absolute shambles. You can't. I don't know, but you can't just keep on doing that. You can't just keep on doing that. You can't lose when you expected to win and win when it doesn't mean anything, right? That mentality should stop this season. We just need to upgrade the team, nothing less and nothing more. Right? Gerard says Arteta has done his best, but we need to reinforce the team. That is next season. My man Anu says Arteta has done a good job for me, Cossy. Okay. I mean, a couple of Arteta outers, including me, are quite convinced. Honestly, are quite convinced. Hi, Cossy. Thank you for the show. I'm getting you live and clear from Kampala. Let him sign a main striker and let Laka and others leave. Now we can compete with Liverpool and Man City. Glenn is off, but I wanted to ask him how many years away from competing. How many years away from competing? And that is the topic that I want you to get involved with. We are done with Mikel, but the last 10 minutes of the show, how many years are we away from competing? One, more on a more regular basis, and two, on a more serious basis. That is the question. I feel we finished better than Tottenham because we lost our top striker and wasn't replaced. Meanwhile, they reinforced in January. Yeah, putting that into consideration, Peter, you could actually argue that. That we've done better than Spurs because what I feel with Spurs, they've had this, they've had this that period where they've reinforced. That is one, but then they have also had their squad, for some time. So their squad is not quite new as ours. And of course, they have some mature players to see them through. Hugo Lloris, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son. Those mature players that see you through those difficult times, right? But of course, the question is, how many years are we? Actually, the questions are two. How many signings are we from competing seriously and more regularly, and how many years are we from the top teams? Those are the two questions that we are going to answer right now. Let me know in the comment section, right? Let me know in the comment section right now. So are you back, Glenn?
I am.
Okay, so the question right now, first of all, let's start off with the years. How many years are we from competing seriously with the big boys? Because I've been watching the kickoff, and what it was, I think it was Laurie Jennings who said that the problem with money in the league is that it creates that kind of gap. Now, if you look at City and Liverpool and the amount of time they've spent investing in their squad, you will find that you find that these other clubs, Arsenal, United, Spurs, a couple of years away from them, right? But of course, that doesn't mean we cannot catch up with them. So, Glenn, how many years are we, in your opinion, how many years are we from getting to the level of City and Liverpool, who we think are not going to drop off the cliff anytime soon?
Oh, this could take it. I'm gonna say 4 years, because I'm gonna say 4 years. Like, remember, for teams like Liverpool, it took them like 30 to start competing in the league again for them to win a title. So yes, Klopp has. If you're to judge in terms of how long Klopp has been there and how long it has been here, you'd say 2 years, 2 more years, and you're gonna be there. But we need 4 years. We need you need to build a structure. You need to change. It's not just the players, the backroom staff, the coaches, the physios. There's so much you need to do. You're going to make some mistakes, and you'll be like, you know what, maybe we're not supposed to sign these players. Let's try another one. Like Guardiola, when he came to City, he signed Bravo, the goalkeeper. 1 year didn't work out. He had to try again. Let's try and get Ederson. For Liverpool, when when Klopp came, he realized, like, oh no, these players, no. He gave the likes of Lallana and Chan a chance, and he was like, you know what, this one will not take us to the next level. Let's go and get more. Sell this one. Let's go now for the likes of Jota, Mane. So for us as well, don't expect every single sign. If, let's say, Arteta is going to be here for 5 years straight, don't expect every signing they make will be good. Don't be surprised if we sign a player this summer, and then by next season we're like, no, this is not the player. Some are already feeling that way about Tavares and Nakonga. Some are already feeling like, nah, these are not the answers. So if you feel that way, you have another chance. Go and get another one until it works. It's not every signing that the likes of Guardiola have made that has worked out. So some mistakes will happen. So I'd say 4 years to compete with them. But for us to compete with Tottenham and United, I mean, we can, if we have a good summer, we can do it from next season.
Yeah, look, with Spurs and United, and look, I'm afraid, and we're going to talk about this, but with United and Newcastle, I'm afraid, because we do not have the same financial muscle as they are. They are, when you look at their rivers, the minerals, could explode at any time. So the strategy, but that is not the point to be afraid of. One, because you have the financial fair play rules that could protect you in that race, and then you also you also get to think that Man City have splashed lots of money at their project, while while Liverpool have splashed much money smartly, right? Across across this kind of longer period of time. If we can take the Liverpool approach, just take that Liverpool approach, just make sure that we spend smart. I think we are safe. So with Man United, Newcastle, and Tottenham, I think we are there. What about Chelsea? Chelsea, are we like 2 years away from challenging with them?
I mean, considering some of the bigger name players are leaving, they do have a quality manager. Obviously, that is something they have above us. But for Chelsea, we totally gave them a run for their money until if we beat Newcastle and Tottenham, we'd have been above Chelsea. We gave them a run for their money, and 2 seasons in a row now, we've beat them at their place. We totally trashed them at their place this season. At our place, it was a Lukaku show. But I can say, considering the results we usually have with Chelsea, we usually beat them, they beat us, we beat them. It's not like a Liverpool or City. City, when the fixtures usually come out, I look at City and Liverpool and I'm like, yeah, we are going to lose at Anfield. It's obvious. But Chelsea these days, we are like, you know what, you never know. We can beat Chelsea. But I never say that about Man City. I never say we are going to beat Man City. So Chelsea, I'm going to say, maybe not next season, the next season after that.
So that means 1 year away from challenging.
That means 1 year away. Yeah.
That means 1 year. In my opinion, I think for us to live with City, to get to their level and live with them, we need to spend the way we spent in last summer, for 3 consecutive seasons. Starting this season, then next season, then the next season. You spend wisely and smartly and a lot. If you can do that, because for them, look at Benaldo, look at Ike Gundogan, and look at Kevin De Bruyne. What's the difference between those 3 players in quality? Literally, there's nothing. Apart from Kevin De Bruyne being the best player in the league, the rest are absolute. They're just quality. They're just quality. So I think Arsenal fans were telling me that, of course, we are going to challenge for this and that next season. Europa League, Frankfurt won it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Frankfurt won the Europa League, and with tournament football, for me, you just need to do what gets you over the line. That's what I think. You just need to do what gets you over the line. The moment you can do that with Europa League football, with tournament football, you know, you can get it over the line. But with league football, where it is kind of a marathon, where you need to be winning game in game out, and at times those games come in a very very congested manner, and you have no option but to win them. I think we are still some years away from genuinely being there. So signings, I was listening to, I was watching James Alcott. That's why I came live late. Alcott was saying that was asking Arsenal fans how many signings away are we from challenging, and someone said a midfielder and 2 strikers. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel you get a
Challenging
good
for what? For the league?
challenging for the league?
Oh my goodness. Just 3 signings challenge? Oh no. We are like 15 signings away from challenging from the league. You have to have 2 teams. You have to have a good first team and a good second team. If it is top 4, if it is top 4 and top 3, then you can say 3 signings. But the league, City and Liverpool, have you seen Liverpool this season, Cossy? Liverpool have gone to every single final. Every single final.
Yeah.
What are the chances for Arsenal to go to every single final? The moment, let's say Carabao Cup next season, we rest Saka and Tierney. The players who are coming on, are they good enough to take us to the final of that one? I watched Liverpool the other day with Southampton. Basically, Milner, I've seen Milner for the last 60 years playing Premier League football, but there's no difference with him and Henderson. Yes, there's a few differences. They look different and everything, but qualities, whatever Henderson can give, Milner will give you. Maybe in terms of skill, Thiago will give you more skill than Henderson, but Henderson will give you fight, leadership. They have everything. But for us, the league title, my goodness, like Tomiyasu has to stay fit for the entire season. He has to have a backup. Cedric, will he win your title? No. Tavares, will he win your title? No. When you start talking about title, even Gabriel and White need some experience next to them, like a John Terry or something. Midfield-wise, you're saying Partey has to be playing every single game. If Arsenal is talking about the title, we are talking about having a bench of Saka, Martinelli, Partey. That is how our bench should be looking like, and then a new first team, and then that should be our bench. Then you can talk about the title. But we are like 15 signings away from a title, man. Those City and Liverpool guys, man. I can see them. I can see City winning again next season, 1 and 2 with Liverpool again. I cannot see us. Imagine some people are saying we've had a bad season and we've only had 1 competition to play in because the FA Cup we went out immediately. The likes of Liverpool have played well over 60 games. We have played like 42 or something. They have played like almost 20 games more than us.
Look. You look at Chelsea. Chelsea, in league competitions, they have played every game there is to play, and Liverpool, in local competitions, played every game of the FA Cup, played every game of the Carling Cup, and played every game of the of the Premier League.
Yep. Club World Cup, they've played so many games, and that is because they have a squad. Maybe Chelsea players don't like these players because they've not been consistent. But I'm sure Cossy would love it if we have Havertz on the right, let's say, and then on the bench you can bring in Pulisic. I'd be very happy if I have Odegaard, and then on the bench I have Havertz to bring on. I'd be very happy if I have that. Like at the back, there are defenders, yes, the likes of Rudiger leaving, but they had Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Spilicueta, Chilwell, and Alonso on the left side. That is very good. Like, it's not like for them bringing in Alonso, it's not like us bringing in Tavares. Alonso's been here, he's been doing it for years. So all those guys have scored. So it's a challenge for the league. We are very far, Cossy, very, very far.
And I think, we need to we need to learn to have the patience that these other clubs have had. Liverpool 30 years, and I know, look, 30 years without a Premier League title. They have won, actually. We have won more Premier League titles than Liverpool. If you didn't know, if anyone didn't know, we've won more than them. We have 3. They have 1. I pray they don't win 5 without before we respond.
I was just saying that. The last time we won the league, City had 0, Chelsea had 0. They are now both ahead of us. Let's hope Liverpool is not the next. And since you've pointed that out, Martin had said, hi, Gunners, Martin from Nairobi, Kenya. It's been a long time now waiting for this club to come back to where we belong. We missed the old days when Arsenal was title contenders and not top four. We are tired. I mean, Martin, I'm sorry if you're tired in 2022. We are definitely not going to challenge for the league next year. As Cossy said, Liverpool went 30 years without challenging for the league. Maybe a couple of times where they challenged, but they fell short. City went years until they challenged. United right now, they've won 13 Premier League titles, but now United have gone, next year it's 10 years without a Premier League title. They could easily get to 15, 20.
They last won it in 2013.
Yeah, 10 years next season.
And it's time flies so much. If they last won it in 2013 and we last won in 2004, how many years have we spent?
We've gone 18 years without a title. United have gone now 9 years without a title.
18 years.
That is a lot. Basically, I've never been, when that is the time I started supporting Arsenal, and we were young at that time, so I've not really enjoyed seeing Arsenal winning a title, knowing what is actually going on. Basically, I've never, apart from the FA Cup, I've never really actually seen Arsenal knowing what is going on, and I'm like, can we win the league? No, any. So 18 years is a lot, and that is my concern. That 18 years could easily get to 25 and 30, and that is another of my concerns in terms of Champions League football. It's 1 year quickly becomes 2 years. That is why I really wanted us to get it this season. 2 years can become 5. Then 5 years is 7 years. Before you know it, 20 years without Champions League. And then just like that. Yeah. So you need to get yourself back there as quickly as possible. So we're trying to get to Champions League next season.
Yeah. And one thing I want is a European title. We need to win at least the Europa League. Honestly. You can't have Frankfurt win the Europa League and Arsenal have never won it. It's
bro,
bad.
I was praying West Ham don't win it. I was praying they don't win it, because how can West Ham win a European competition before Arsenal? I was literally praying that Frankfurt beat them, and they did. So every time you see Frankfurt winning, Sevilla, Villarreal, I'm like, why not us? And we've come close so many times. Semi-final against Atletico, semi-final against Villarreal, final against Chelsea, final against Barcelona, so many times in this competition. So I really want us to, I don't know how, I'm hoping it's next season. I'm really hoping it's going to be next season.
Even if it's not next season, but I just hope that when we build a team together and we get this kind of spell like Liverpool have, we win literally everything there is to win.
I mean, I wish, man. I really wish, but I'd really love. Great that you've pointed it out. European competition, just to get that out of our head, because it can get to you. You can start thinking, oh, Arsenal never win at Anfield. Arsenal can never win a European competition. No, we can. These teams have, and you've gotten so close twice. We just needed 1 goal against Villarreal to do it. We just needed 10 minutes against Barcelona to do it. We just needed, we needed like 4 goals against Chelsea to do it in 2019, but we fell apart. Just that last step, as you said, last step. We just need that last step, man.
But I'm really sure next season we will challenge for it. I see ourselves back in the semi-finals. I don't see ourselves in the finals. It will depend on how we play and how we are. But I see ourselves as an automatic qualification to the semi-finals.
I usually see that as well. I mean, I can see us definitely get to the quarterfinal, but after that is usually the problem. You have to have that pedigree. That is where experience comes in. That's why we need to see some players getting signed this season.
Okay. My man Annie says it's 2 years and we need 4 signings. I don't agree with you.
Title. Who?
Title. I don't think it's 2 years. I don't think it's 4 signings. I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's a lot more than that. I'm telling you, it's a little bit more. Look, it looks easy because when you have some kind of anything like positive, I think I've asked this, during a wrong time when we've beaten 5-1, Everton 5-1. But if I had asked this when we had lost 5-0 to Liverpool, that is when you people would tell me, Cossy, 10 years and 22 signings, away. But I think 2 years is too early. I mean, look, Ralf Rangnick made a very, very interesting point. And he said, rebuilding a team like United can take a lot of time, right? But if you do it the right way, it can be next season. And I think, the right way, what he was meaning is get these players all out and bring in everyone new. Yeah, that could happen. But with AFP now in the way, you have to mind your budget, you have to mind how you spend, you have to mind and balance your wages. You just can't bring in, all players at once. You have to leave, you have to make some leave and then create some for others. So I see it as around, like I said, 2 years we compete with Chelsea, and an extra 2 years to see if we can get to Liverpool and City's level.
Yeah, I actually don't see a reason why we shouldn't finish ahead of Chelsea as well next season. I mean, Chelsea always have a couple of good seasons and then they finish ninth and then they come and finish fast. They always have that kind of season. But my target for next season our target for this season was top 6. Now, my target for next season is definitely top 4. We need to get back there as soon as possible. Next season, the target is top 4, and we have to make that target clear. Arteta and they do have to make that target clear at the beginning of the season. We are going for top 4. We have to get there now, and that is our target for next season. And we need players to do that. We'll now be in 4 competitions. Europa League, Europa League is not easy. Playing Thursday, Sunday, you play in Kazakhstan, then tomorrow in France, the next day in Estonia. Some of those players that you've never even played against. So let's see how it's going to work out. Hopefully, top 4 next season.
Ayan is in my chat.
Ayan is happy.
And he's happy. I mean, look. There is nothing we can do as Arsenal fans but to say, Spurs, you've taken it.
Yeah.
Look, we can't say congratulations to you because we are not your mates, but but we can say you've done it. You've done it. You go to the UEFA Champions League, and the good thing with Spurs is that they're going to UEFA Champions League with a good manager. So they don't have to be scared like United all the time. They've been qualifying for UEFA. And then they get dumped into the Europa League, or they get knocked out of knocked as early as possible. It's always good when you have a good manager like Antonio Conte. So I think that's one thing I envy about Spurs. The rest you they have Conte, and it's one of the reasons that's why they didn't photo it today. For me, it's one of the reasons that's why they didn't photo it today. When you have a manager like that,
and also just because Norwich are just crap and they should never be anywhere near the Premier League again. Absolutely terrible.
Honestly, to be sure, Norwich City have been an absolute, disgrace, an embarrassment to the Premier League.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like they're worse than Derby. They're worse than what Derby were when they were here. This has been a terrible season for them. Like the way they've been losing at home.
They lost 25. They've lost 26 games this season out of 38, and they have conceded 84 goals.
That is a lot. I predicted 5-1 for that game. I thought they would even score. Nowhere near. I knew they are terrible. So. Let's just congratulations to Spurs. I'm going to say it. I mean, what can we do? So hopefully they're not going to win it. Hopefully we can see Bayern smashing them 10 goals next season. I'll definitely enjoy that. At least it doesn't have to be us.
Yeah, Leeds have stayed up as well. So if you're an update on the relegation battle, Leeds stayed up, and Liverpool won the title. So I mean, that's it. Glenn, we'll be leaving it at that, and we'll be coming back. Thanks everybody for watching us. We are always here, me and Glenn. Some of your opinions in the chat here, Cossy. I'm not so happy because the manager we have now lacks enough game reading experience. Surely he can't help more. Look, I've talked about it, John. I think it's a matter of trusting the process. It's a matter of trusting, because the process includes the manager becoming better, right? The process, because we have a novice manager, so it includes the manager becoming better. Okay. Anu says for league we need like 8-10 new quality signs.
I think that is less. I think that is less. We need more than that.
I hear you on that. HJ wants to say something before we log off. HJ, the link is in the comment section. Uh, he wants to say something before we log off. Look, but overall, Glenn, I think it's one we can say, what a season, right? Not what a season because we have really achieved, but it's been a lot of highs, lows, highs, lows. It's been one where you cannot say it has been really that settled.
Yeah, it's been highs and lows, but I still think it's been a decent season. I mean, we've
Hmm.
only Man City and Liverpool have won more games than us.
Yeah.
We've won 22 games. I mean, we are basically, in terms of wins, we're the third best team. But obviously, there are some things we need to improve. But I've actually enjoyed this season than last season and than Wenger's last season and than Emre's last season. I've
I-
definitely enjoyed this more. Some games have been really good. Those wins
Just
against United, Tottenham. Go ahead, go ahead.
just don't talk about last season because last season is the worst season
That was the worst.
yeah, it's the
So
worst season. It's one where I don't know. I literally don't know.
it was terrible. So this season I've enjoyed it more, at least watching. At least we've been there until the last game. Last season, by the time we were getting to this last game, I mean, no one, people had already given up. We were just waiting
Yeah.
for the next season. So at least this season we had something to compare, to compete for. I've said season so many times. You just need to go to AJ next.
Yeah. AJ, how are you doing? It's been a long time, bro.
Good evening, everyone. I know it's just the end of the season. I'm not coming back, but I've been a bit
Yeah.
inactive this season.
Yeah.
But look, for me, to sum up the season, I'm disappointed personally because you look at the start we had to the season. Yes, some may say after those 3 games, no one expected us to make some sort of a comeback and come even towards the top 4. However, I think the fact that we had one game for the most of this season, and the fact that we couldn't make any progress in the 2 cup competitions, like we couldn't get to the final of the Carabao Cup, which is disappointing, and the FA Cup we got knocked out in round 3. I just feel like it's disappointing to not even come away with the Champions League qualification. And when you talk about Arteta's progress, Emery's first full season, 70 points. Arteta's third season, only 69 points. For me, this doesn't show progress. And for me, moving into this next season, I think we have to seriously evaluate the position of Arteta moving forward. Because, again, this summer will show a lot of what we are actually trying to do. Because we've been signing these young players, and we've seen towards the end of the season that eventually, the pressure does get to them.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think, I mean, we can all agree, the 3 of us and probably the people watching here, that one of the reasons why we didn't get over that line. Yes, the manager is inexperienced, and I thought in some situations the pressure got to him, but also the players. If we had some maturity in there, and that's why you desperately missed Thomas Partey. If we had some maturity in there, probably we could have got the job, the job done. So AJ, how much time would you, not probably how much time, but would you say by December next year, if things are not yet so much better, you tee up the contract?
Yeah, you made a point about maturity. I feel like you have to blame that on Arteta and Edu as well, because these 2 people, they chose to go with the youth project. They chose to sign so many young players. So if we're going to say there wasn't enough maturity, there wasn't enough experience, then you have to put the blame on them because they decided to sign so many young players. I think that's the first key point. And secondly, if we're going to talk about when Arteta, so much time, I've had these discussions, with Glenn and you for the last year about Arteta this, Arteta that. We've had these discussions so many times. For me, if a good manager is available right now, go sign him now. Marco Rose is available. Zidane's available. We could probably attract a few others here and about are available. However, obviously, being realistic, I don't think the board are going to sack him. Let's be realistic. It's not my opinion. It's the club's opinion, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just paid a new contract. He's just put
exactly.
Put pen to paper.
And I'm disappointed about the new contract. He's not progressed this team. So why are we rewarding failure with that contract? For me, it's just showing the club's backward mindset. But again, some people have different other opinions.
Yeah, but that is where I wanted to ask: would you term everything that we got this season as failure because we are bigger than this, or would you term it as failure because he's literally just failed to achieve?
I think it's both, to be honest. If you look at the fact that we had new European football, so he didn't have to manage that, and we've seen that in the January window. Like we didn't sign anyone. Our squad is very thin, and when you look at, for example, when we were injuries and we had so many centre back injuries after that Tottenham game, Arteta chose to loan out Pablo Mari. Arteta and Edges chose to sell Callum Chambers. They actively sold these players without replacing them, which left us short in so many situations. And you have to look at the recruitment in some ways as well. Let's say Lokonga's come in. Has he done much? Has he impacted it? No.
Not really, yeah.
Tavares, he's looking to replace with Aaron Hickey now. So does that show a lack of trust in Tavares? Ben White, has he really been a success for the amount of money we paid for him? And Saliba's gone out one player of the year in Liga. That doesn't look like good investment to me. The only signing I see that has really, really succeeded to an extent is Aaron Ramsdale. Even Odegaard's been shaky this season. So I think when you look at it in that respect, I think this season has been a failure in so many respects, because despite playing even one game a week, we've not been able to get top four. So what does that tell me moving forward when we're going to have Europa League, where we're going to have to play Thursday, Sunday? Do I trust Arteta and these players to get us forward? I don't believe it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the quality, the caliber of players, because we can't deal with that this summer. The manager, not really, not so fast. So
yeah,
I mean, then what would you love to see in the summer? What would you feel should be? I mean, because he says, and I don't know if he's gonna do that, but he says he needs some quality and experience. I mean, what kind of players would you go for? Would you go for the 27, 28, 29, or would you say let's go for 25, let's go for 25, 24 still, and then in the next 3 years probably the project goes bang?
I think you have to look at players that have genuine experience in the Champions League and actually winning things, and players that are within that 25 to 30 range. Now, I haven't given much thought to this personally, as we've just gone into the summer transfer window, and we don't know what sort of players Edu and Arteta are looking at. And as we know, every year in Arsenal transfer windows, we get linked to every player in Europe and beyond. It's like that every time. But with the links we are hearing, it only looks like young players again. This kid from Brazil, Hickey, Tielemans looks like a decent signing to me personally. Looks like a decent signing.
I love him.
Jesus is a bit of a sticky one, but again, when you look at the market for strikers at the moment, which is what we need, it's not a great market, especially when so many clubs are trying to get strikers. So again, you're probably looking at maybe Osimhen looks okay, Nunez looks all right, Jonathan David, but again, we'll have to see. But I think it's important, especially in that midfield area, especially squad depth. Get some experience in there. Get an older player like a Gundogan we've been linked with. Someone like him, and someone that can pick these young players up in times of pressure when the going gets tough. Against Newcastle at St James's Park, when the atmosphere was getting to them, when Champions League was on the line, they faltered. When the pressure came to them, they crumbled, and we've seen that so many times this season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting summer. Not only interesting in terms of who comes in, but it's gonna be interesting because it is so important. We're back in Europe. We need a 25-man squad. We're gonna have 25. We're gonna have 5 Premier League subs the next season, and we will need, because you know why I would settle with Mikel for next season. I would really want to see one. I want to see him around in the summer and see what the Cronkies are gonna say, because him staying around exposes the Cronkies, because they've said they're gonna bank him, and
they have backed him already, Cossy. They've already backed him.
They backed him. But I don't think that is the kind of backing you would say we want to get this team to where it belongs. So we backed a manager with 150 million. I don't think after some 10 years of deadwood. No, I don't think. I think this summer is crucial, AJ. I think it's going to be crucial. And I think we will see some interesting signings coming at Arsenal, for me. 2 or 3, probably.
Again, we'll have to see what happens in the summer. We get linked to so many players. Again, another situation you have to look at is William Saliba. Is he coming back? Is he going? In my mind, he's not an Arsenal player anymore. I don't think he's going to play for us personally. But again, that's a whole discussion in itself. But I think it's gonna be interesting how we go into the next season. Like for me, what's the target for next season? What? Because at the start of this season, neither Arteta nor Edu set a target for this season. And what's going to be the target for next season? Is it just going to be to get Champions League? Because that was the target for this season. So surely if that was the target for this season, we failed. So what's the target for next season? So I think in that respect, we have to show progression. If this manager is going to stay here, I need to see progression. First step of that is, yes, get into the Champions League. And thirdly, compete on all the competitions. Try and get to that Europa League final and try and win it. Look, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of the Europa League. Personally, I'm sick and tired of the Europa League. But
I hate it.
But it's a chance to win a trophy. It's a chance to win a European trophy. And that's the one thing I do like about the Europa League. Every season we've been in the Europa League, we've had a chance to win it. Whereas in the Champions League, we never have a chance to win it. So I think in that respect, we have a chance to win it. But again, with the 5 subs, as you quite rightly mentioned, it will be interesting to see Arteta manage his squad and how some of these players coming back on off loan, how we're going to utilize them, or if they're going to play or not. As we've seen, El Neni's looks like he's signed a new deal. Torres coming back, Maitland-Niles coming back, Saliba coming back. Some of these players coming back. How are we going to deal with it? But again, that's just time will tell, really.
Hi, HJ.
Hey, bro, a long time.
How are you? I'm sorry, Cossy. I had a question for HJ. I had a question for HJ.
I'll bring this later.
I wanted to know what you feel has been your greatest moment about this season, or greatest positive about this season and greatest negative. Is it the signings we've made? Is it some of the wins we've picked up away form, or is it the home form? What have you loved the most about this season, and what have you hated the most about this season?
I think what I've hated the most is probably the fact that we gassed up this top 4 race so much, and the fact that we faltered at the last minute. It's kind of depleted the morale a bit in terms of people are confused in a way. What I've enjoyed is, look, in parts of the season we have played well. I finally started going to games myself this season. I've been to about 4, so I've enjoyed myself at the Emirates. It's been a good atmosphere there every time I've went. Not for the Chelsea game I went to at the start of the season, but mostly it's been good. And when you do go to games, you do feel a more connection to the club. But I feel like we've played some good football at the times. We've got some really good results, like the one today. But again, it was off pressure today. But what I've enjoyed the most, some of the football we've played has been good. But I think the negative result is we finished 5th, and overall progression in where we are trying to go has not been achieved, which is why I'd probably say the season's probably a failure.
Yeah. That is where I wanted to ask you about Vinay Venkatesham's comments that this season Arsenal have not only achieved but actually overachieved. I mean, what do you make of that? If someone high up, in the hierarchy of the team, say if the fans feel a little bit not enough, and then someone up the hierarchy says, no, if you feel not enough, you're wrong. We've actually overachieved. What do you feel with that?
It's worrying. It's genuinely worrying because the standards
actually
genuinely worrying
well.
Because the standards have fallen to such a height that Arteta's taken backwards to 8th and only upwards to 5th, and they're saying we've overachieved. So what was the target for the season? When Vina, Edu, and Arteta sat in a room, what was the target? To finish 6th, 7th? What was the target? Just to get back into Europe? That just shows the standards have fallen to such an extent that, we were once challenging for titles, even getting into Champions League. We wanted Wenger out for getting into the Champions League because he wasn't challenging. And now we're at a point where Europa League is overachieving. What? So I think this just shows that we need to wake up and we need to demand more, demand the best, try and get the best players this season. Yes, we don't have Champions League to offer, but we have money to offer. We can offer the big money. We can offer big transfer fees, big wages. We can do that. So try and attract the best players and try and move forward because we're not doing that.
Right, listen, lads. I'm with AJ.
I cannot blame you. It's been a long season. My name is Glenn.
I'm with Glenn. No.
Don't worry, it's been a long season. And Rokan is here as well.
Rokan, how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. The point, the debate here on the channel. Thank you so much for coming in because you can give us an outsider's perspective.
Hey guys, I have to head off. Yeah, thank you guys.
No problem.
It's okay.
See you guys.
It's all right. The debate is, have Arsenal really overachieved or underachieved this season? The club hierarchy feel we have achieved the targets and we have overachieved. The fans feel not yet there, not yet good enough.
It depends on what angle you are seeing this. You get?
Yeah.
Trust me. Do you know why people are saying that Arsenal have really overachieved? The resources that Arsenal had, you cannot compare them to the resources that Man City had, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester United. I was doing a video on Rokan Media Football. I said I was reacting to the Arsenal game against Everton, and I was wrapping up the entire Arsenal season. And I said, if at all Manchester United, a team that finished second the previous season, brought in Ronaldo, Jordan Sancho, and Rafael Varane, you get, and their expectations were to fight for the title, and Arsenal come in and accomplish the season ahead of them, you get. Why not say you've overachieved? Because the teams that are ahead of you are far much better than you, and you never even started this season thinking that you can clinch the fourth spot of that Premier League to win the Champions League. Because I remember very well, every Arsenal fan was saying we have no chance for the fourth spot. You get all the top four spots of the Premier League, and we are fighting to go in Europe. That's even Cossy here. I remember very well when you are really doing a preview of your season. You say at least let's go to Europa League because that's where we discuss it.
Honestly, and I thought we were not even good enough to get there.
You get? I mean, look, let me give you an example. You know, another example as to why Arsenal has overachieved is look at West Ham. Look at the squad of West Ham. You get? When you bring the first 11 of Arsenal, it can compete with any team in the Premier League. But remember, a Premier League is not a 100-meter race. It's a marathon.
It's a marathon, yeah.
In a marathon, the number of ammunitions you have in your arsenal are the ones that really contribute a lot to your season.
Yeah.
What let down the season of Arsenal is them not signing players in the January transfer window. The difference between Arsenal and Spurs are the two players that Spurs signed in the January transfer window. And if at all I'm to blame the board of Arsenal in there for you, I can blame them for not signing in close to two players in there, because there is a player who went to Juventus that he plays for which team? Switzerland?
Dennis Zakaria.
Yes, for £3 million.
And for me, look, Rokan, two players, you're being too generous. One player would have taken us today to
Cossy. One player wouldn't, because you were looking at Vlahovic.
Yeah.
You get? And you did get him. I really believe that Vlahovic couldn't save Arsenal's season, because in the game of football, the easiest thing to do is to score that goal. If at all the other departments of your team are functioning very well.
Very well,
if you have people like Ramsdale, you have a back four, you have your midfield, you have a player like Odegaard. Oh my God. Have you seen that goal that Odegaard scored today?
Absolute class. Absolute. I think
I don't support Arsenal. He's my best player at Arsenal. Odegaard. Odegaard.
That goal is
Oh my God, that guy is a revelation.
Yeah.
He's a revelation. That's why when you're doing the combined 11 between Manchester United and Arsenal, I came out and told you that on any day, even when Bruno has hit his ceiling, I put Odegaard ahead of him, because that guy. So I'm telling you that the midfield of Arsenal let it down.
Would you swap Odegaard and Fernandes right now?
100%.
Wow.
I love Fernandes, but at times, that kind of very selfish vibe around him just frightens me. That he might not achieve what he wants to achieve as a footballer.
Glenn, a central attacking midfielder, his role is not to score very many goals. It's to control the game and give the team a drive. Bruno doesn't offer that. He doesn't offer that. And that's what Odegaard does. Odegaard only scores when his option is scoring. You get? He doesn't shoot anyhow. He gets the possession. He's good. And by the way, you cannot relate the talent of Odegaard to that of Bruno. Odegaard is more talented than Bruno. That's it. And he's young, 23 years of age. Bruno is 27. You get?
That's a Man United fan, by the way. That's a Man United fan talking, by the way.
Yes.
Where I love him is, it just gives you that kind of, perspective. He's not deluded as other United fans.
Because let me tell you, imagine if at all Arsenal had bought in a Zakaria or a Kamara into that midfield. You get? When Thomas Partey got an injury, that's when Arsenal really got spoiled. And the manager got it wrong when he really shifted Granit Xhaka to play off the left back and really trusted Lokonga and Odegaard to play into that double midfield pivot. Yet he had El Nini, and when he brought in El Nini proved him wrong in the remaining games of the season.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing, because if you've had a midfield of two playing very well, then why do you just shift them away at the same time, all of them at the same time? It makes no sense.
So to me, the reason as to why people say Arsenal has overachieved, there are very many. Look at the age bracket of Arsenal players. Aaron Ramsdale coming in. Is he 22, 23 years of age? Is he 21, 22? 23 years. Coming up. When you talk about the top three goalkeepers in the Premier League, to me, I really believe that he comes next after Alisson of Liverpool this season. He comes next after Alisson, because Alisson has been my best goalkeeper, and Ramsdale comes in. You get? Look at Tomiyasu. I mean, you see him getting injuries, but he has been really very good. And one thing I credit on the board of Arsenal is getting in players that have hit the ground running and they've not disappointed. You get?
Yeah.
And there is the gentleman that has just left who said that, look at Unai Emery, he gained 76 points in his first season at Arsenal. I have to tell him, when you look at the players that Arsenal had at disposal, you get, in that first Unai Emery season, they are far much better than the players that Arsenal have right now. You get? If at all Mikel Arteta had close to 3 more players with their level next to Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, and Alexandre Lacazette, only those, he would have been in the 4th spot of the Premier League. Obviously, going to the Champions League. And I really believe that there's no way you compare this team of Arteta that is just building to the team of Unai Emery.
Unai Emery, and also Unai Emery's players had a little bit, because they had played together, they had been together. It was not kind of something very new. These players had just been very new to each other. Tomiyasu from Italy, Odegaard from Spain, Ramsdale from the Premier League. I mean, they've been so new, but Unai Emery was building on to what Arsene Wenger had literally built, and it was crumbling. It was dying out. Though they had known themselves for some time.
Compare him, Mesut Ozil. In a season, he could get you close to 15 goals and 20 assists. You get? Look at Aubameyang. He could get you close to 20 goals a season. Which other player?
The Aubameyang under Unai Emery was on fire, was working. Yeah,
he was very good. Very good.
Yeah, the Aubameyang under Unai Emery was working. I think David Luiz as well. Did Unai Emery bring in David Luiz? Yeah.
He did that 2019 season, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was 2019.
Yeah. And Leno was also, in his top form. I don't think Leno only became poor after the injury in last season, but one.
I don't think Leno is a poor goalkeeper.
I think, Leno's trademark was his reflexes and strong hands. And the moment he started, conceding those goals that you feel he should be punching away, those goals that you feel he should be keeping out, that is when because with his foot, he's not a good goalkeeper. The good thing with David De Gea is he's so good with his hands that you do not remember that his feet do not work. He
No,
only
no, no,
goes.
no, Cossy.
Honestly, no, Rokan, we are not having this. We are not having this debate. Rokan, we are not having this debate.
Cossy,
David
we
De Gea
even
is my
had that
goalkeeper. You know
debate
that,
with Aaron
Rokan.
Ramsdale. And I tell you, and I ask you one thing.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I really don't agree with the British media is them trying to sell us what they want. You get?
Yeah.
You know why that conversation came in through? It was between Dean Henderson and David De Gea.
I still remember. But Rokan, look at this. There is no other reason as to why David De Gea has been dropped on the Spanish national team. No one will ever convince me that Unai Simon is he called Unai Simon is better than David De Gea in terms of save percentage, in terms of serves expected, serves made, anything. He's not better than him. He's only better than him with his feet. And that's the reason as to why David De Gea is being dropped.
For Spain, it's a different case. Do you know how many senior players at Spain that have been dropped?
I mean, we just dropped all Madrid players in the Euros.
But trust me, I will believe where Spain was in the Euros, they needed Sergio Ramos.
Absolutely, 100%.
Was dropped. So it's a mentality of the coach. He wants to really get out of these old players and get into these other young players because he really believes that it's time for Spain to build a new team.
That's a point.
It's not because that Unai Simeone is so much good with his foot.
No.
So there is nothing that David Gea can't do with his foot.
No, but the point with David is that you cannot trust him. That is the problem. You can trust him as a goalkeeper that he can keep 10 shots out and you're safe, but you cannot trust him with the ball. Just like you saw Edward. For me, Edward Mendy is not one of the greatest. He's not one of the good players of the ball with his feet. Right? I really do not trust them. And with David De Gea,
and if at all, you cannot put David De Gea in the same caliber with that goalkeeper of Chelsea when it comes to how bad they are when they're using the ball in their feet. That guy is a calamity. Edward Mendy is a calamity. That's it. Because when you look at how he uses the ball, he's afraid. You get?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very afraid. Yeah.
What shows that you're afraid are the decisions that you make. You get? But those players, I think the goalkeeper that you're talking about, David De Gea, to me, one time we'll come up and have this discussion here again. Because I really have my reservations. I know where that comes from. Let me give you an example. Like when it's at Arsenal, you are going to face the same scenario if at all, like Martinelli, next season. Because I really believe that next season Martinelli is going to play more games than Emily Smith-Rowe. Do you know what they are going to do, the English media? They are going to try to throw some clout to Martinelli.
Yeah.
You get?
Anytime he takes a look. Yeah. So I hear you on that.
The English media tries to divert us from the main point. You get? Ask yourself, why is United conceding goals? Like today, we've lost the game of football, but David De Gea pulled up like 3 fantastic saves.
Yeah.
You get? So has David De Gea's not being able to play with his foot costed United any goal? No. But how many English players into that United team have costed United? Very many. You get? So to me, I really believe that it's a conversation that of Aaron Ramsdale, Bernard Leno. Bernard Leno is not liked by the manager. That's it. Just know Mikel Arteta doesn't like Bernard Leno. He doesn't like him.
Yeah, but I think with Leno, he's not out because we are conceding goals. He cannot be a player who you start with your attacks. You cannot be a player who you think because with Ramsdale, there are times when players are closing us up, and then he plays that ball right through his defense to into the midfield. I think Leno doesn't have that, and that is what Mikel really wants to do, because we know he wants to replicate what is happening at Manchester City. I don't think Leno has that.
Cossy and Glenn,
Yeah, bro.
To me, I have a different narrative altogether.
Yeah.
I really believe that what exposed Bernard Leno was the injury he got.
Yeah.
When Martinez got into that goal of Arsenal, the things that he did gave Mikel Arteta a second thought.
Yeah.
That this goalkeeper we are having is not good enough. If at all the second goalkeeper, the second choice goalkeeper came in through and put up all this, then he's not at a level of what we deserve. Because Martinez really had a fantastic season at Arsenal. You get? And that really gave Mikel Arteta a very big question, because Arsenal really would have used that 30 million pounds they used to buy Aaron Ramsdale to go in and bring in a central defensive midfielder or a central midfielder. They would have.
Yeah.
But the fact that the manager went ahead to do that, it shows you that he had really got to know that this goalkeeper is not good enough. He doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust him. That's what I will believe. He doesn't trust him.
It's interesting, but I wanted to ask you this: do you think this summer is when Arsenal and Man United get to be on the same level, not in terms of being poor, because this season we've been very poor, but do you think we can get to the same level by being good this summer? Right? You sign in your own players, we sign in our players, and we get back to the level where people want us to be, because people do not want to see United 7th and 6th, and people do not want to see Arsenal 5th and 6th.
Glenn.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. I was with Cossy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my prediction, I told him that the season of 2024.
Yeah.
22 seasons from now, Arsenal is going to win the Premier League. I told Cossy.
And I refused that.
And he refused it.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing the same question.
No, Rokan, I'm not saying that. Listen. Just a moment. I'm not saying that we get back to the same level where we are competing with Liverpool and Spurs. I'm saying we get back to the level where you see Arsenal and Man United, go into every game and you don't expect them to lose. And at the end of the day, Arsenal finish 3rd, and you finish 4th, or Arsenal finish 4th and United finish 3rd, because that is the next step. Thinking about challenging the other two at the top would be, for me, a bit too early.
No. Cossy.
Yeah.
I really have reservations, but I come up here by guys. I go by the names of Rokan David.
Yeah.
I have 2 channels, Rokan Media Football and Manchester United Matters channel. If at all you feel like I'm offending you, can as well find me that side and I really talk to you. But I will believe that it's time has come for the sleeping giants to get back to where they're supposed to be, because they have not been doing business well. When you look at the business that Arsenal did last season, you get, they gave Mikel Arteta 149 million pounds and he got in close to 6 players, isn't it?
Yeah.
6. Now, that means Arsenal was not in Europe, and that means Arsenal is really going to be given a minimum of 150 million pounds to get in players. Now, Mikel Arteta, I looked at the games he played against Liverpool, especially that one, leave alone that one of the first leg.
Yeah, the second leg. The second leg was a little bit better. Yeah.
100% saw Arsenal in control of the game, but what they lacked was that centre forward that could really make those runs to confuse the central defense of Liverpool, because I've seen Liverpool defense conceding goals if at all they really have a serious centre forward who can really allow people like Odegaard to really release, centre forwards in there for you.
Yeah.
And I saw Arsenal matching the quality of Chelsea.
Yeah.
With that small squad they had. Yeah. I saw Arsenal totally matching Man City. And if it was not the referee ruining that game of Arsenal and Man City, Arsenal was going to get a result. You get? Even when Arsenal was a man down, was it Gabriel Magalhaes who was red carded? Who was red carded in that game of
Magalhaes. Magalhaes went off.
Magalhaes, the best central defender to me the Premier League this season, was sent off. And Man City...
That is...
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth.
That's a lot. 5 goals this season.
To me, it's the best. To me, I'm telling you.
Virgil van Dijk, hello.
Yeah. Virgil van Dijk really has has some cases to answer this season. He's not yet to the level that we expect him to be.
Actually,
He might have performed.
I was talking. I don't know who I was talking to, but then I said I feel Matip has been a better player than Van
Yeah,
Dijk.
Matip even won one of the Premier League Players of the Month awards because of his defensive actions. So I really believe that Gabriel Magalhaes, was sent off in that game, and Man City was still struggling to really score a goal against Arsenal. You get? Yeah. So that means if Arsenal brings in four good players like Yuri Tielemans, because one has already been signed. I know Marquinhos is coming in through. You get?
Yeah, but I don't think Marquinhos is part of the bigger project.
He is.
He might be.
Cossy.
But yeah,
I've seen Mikel Arteta and Edu.
Yeah.
They don't bring in players that don't really benefit Arsenal immediately. They are not like Manchester United. Ragnick today has been asked that why didn't you address the case of Nemanja Matic? He's 33 years of age and he knew that you did the midfielder. He asked them too, why did United spend £90 million on Danny Van Beek, Pelestri, and Amad Diallo instead of going in and bringing in one player that would have been playing that role and he would have been a starter? You get? Yeah. So Arsenal is not like Manchester United. Arsenal won't go out to spend money on a player who is not going to impact on their season. Even when they brought in Nuno Tavares at £7 million, they've used him this season.
He's definitely impacted our season because we've lost a couple of points because of him.
Albert Sambi Lokonga, £17 million. He has impacted. You get? He has played well for Arsenal. You get? Every player that Arsenal has brought in has had a part to play into that Arsenal team. That's not what Arsenal. That's what Manchester United doesn't do. You get? Arsenal is bringing in players purposefully to do a certain purpose and fulfill it, not to loan in a player. United brought in Amad Diallo, they loaned him. They brought in Pelestri, they loaned him. What kind of business is that? So the way Arsenal is doing its business, trust me, I might sound stupid here right now, but in 8 months from now, we'll come back here. Yeah. Arsenal is going to give all those teams a run for the trophy. Trust me, they're not going to win it, but they are really going to do it with the business they do. If they bring in Gabriel Jesus, you get? Because Gabriel Jesus has shown you that if at all you have and get me the balls, I'll go in and score. There is a game they scored, which was the second last game Man City played.
I think where it's scored 4.
West Ham, right?
Yeah.
Was it where he scored 4?
No, in that game he didn't score. Leave alone that. That game, I think he never scored. But what I can tell you,
it was West Ham.
Yes, it was West Ham. But if at all you saw what he did into that box of West Ham, he would have scored like 3 goals.
Yeah. And actually, that is why his expected goals are very, very high on the XG chart. They're so high. If he can try to convert those chances, he's going to be a very, very classy striker.
And he's going to be having one of the. To me, Odegaard. You see, Modric is going, Eriksen is going. I will believe that Odegaard is going to be the next deadly creative midfielder in the world. You get? And when you're having Gabriel Jesus and having Bukayo Saka in the same team with Martinelli and Odegaard, trust me, Arsenal can floor any team in the Premier League. They can. You get?
Why I'm still skeptical about it is that it's still a project that needs a lot of glue to get together, and the manager who
look, how come a person who does not support Arsenal we get? Because right now you are almost taking all the boxes of a team.
We do. I mean, we do tick
a lot.
Yeah, we do tick many boxes.
When Arsenal has its first 11, it does not struggle to score goals. It defends very well. It keeps clean sheets. You get?
Yeah.
Now, let me give you an example. Yefis Besuma is at like £50 million.
Yeah. 45 probably.
45.
Yeah.
Imagine an Arsenal with a Yefis Besuma in that midfield with Thomas Partey. That is the double midfield pivot. Yeah. Gabriel Jesus leading the line. You get? Bukayo Saka playing off the right-hand side of the midfield. Martinelli playing off the left attacking side of the midfield, with Kian Tierney playing as the left back, Tomiyasu right back, Gabriel and Ben White into that central defense of Arsenal. If Arsenal really has some good backup players, that if at all Gabriel gets an injury and Arsenal brings in a central defender this season, you get, and another centre forward, tell me how Arsenal won't come out to compete with Man City and Liverpool this season, or next season, and Manchester United and Chelsea. Tell me how they won't. Because Arsenal, let me before you give me that answer, let me even question you. How many games did Arsenal go unbeaten this season with that thin squad that they had?
Look, I think we ran a spell of around, was it 11 to 12 games where we didn't lose a game, right? And I thought that was a miracle, by the way, because was it straight after us losing 3 in a row, or was it after us losing to Liverpool in the first leg? But
no,
why
you lost to Man City 5-1.
Yeah.
Then you went ahead to beat Burnley. Ever since you beat Burnley, you really had a long stretch of games without being beaten.
Okay. But you know what scares me is when you put Arsenal into this conversation, I envision Man City and Liverpool and how they consistently look. When did Liverpool last lose points? Like last drop points in the league? Like not drawing. I mean, yes, they drew against Spurs, I think. But apart from that, when do you remember when Liverpool dropped points? City as well. Living with them.
I don't remember when they last lost points.
Yeah, living with those clubs for me is not that easy.
No, you're talking 95 points. Yeah,
you're talking about 95 points.
Yes, and Arsenal have got 69. And it's 69.
Yeah,
a difference of how many points? 20.
Many.
Yes, they are 20. But do you know why they are 20? Do you know why they are 20? Do you know why they are 20?
Yeah.
One.
The manager.
Let me check here. When you look at Arsenal have won 22 games this season.
Yeah.
They've drawn 3
and lost,
but they've lost 13.
Yeah.
You get? When you look at Liverpool, they've won 28. A difference of 6 games. You get?
Yeah.
Liverpool have drawn 8.
Yeah.
And lost 2.
Yeah. That's it.
You get?
That's the difference.
Yes, it's the difference. But when you look at Arsenal, the 13 games they've lost, you get? They have not lost them because Arsenal is a very poor team. They've lost those games because Arsenal had to lose them because they never had players. That's it. Cossy, by the time we start this season, if Arsenal brings in a central defensive midfielder, they bring in a centre forward and a central defender, and maybe if Arsenal brings in 4 players that are going to impact that squad of Arsenal is going to get 90 points next season.
90.
If Arsenal gets 90 points next season, Brokani, I am going to send you to Dubai for 1 month. I'm going to pay for you a Dubai trip for 1 month.
I'm putting this on TikTok. I'm putting this on Twitter. You have said, Arsenal, if we get in 2 strikers and a decent central midfielder, a decent central midfielder,
and a decent centre back.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
Arsenal will
gather 90 points.
Let me break it down.
That's a lot.
Arsenal was less 21 points to hit 90 points this season.
Yeah.
You get? Let me break it down. Do you think Arsenal would have lost to Spurs if at all it had the players that I've talked about in the 3-1? It wouldn't. Would Arsenal have lost to Newcastle?
No.
Those are how many. I'm going to count you 7 games that Arsenal have drawn and lost. Would Arsenal have lost to Brighton at home?
No.
Would Brentford have beaten Arsenal in the opening game?
No.
So those are 12 points. When you add those 12 points to the 61, that is 81. We are just left with 9. I don't remember most of the games, but there are games that Arsenal even drew. Let me give you an example. Do you think if Arsenal had a decent team, would it have lost at Manchester United 3-2?
No. I think
Arsenal
that
have lost to
would
Man
have taken
City.
it.
You know that Arsenal, even how weak it was, you get? Arsenal would have beaten Man City because Arsenal registered very, very good clear chances to beat Man City, but Arsenal failed.
Actually, shortly after conceding the penalty, Martinelli
Yes.
got an open goal. If he scores that, the game, the trajectory of the game, again changes.
So what I'm talking about, to me, when I'm in my free time, there's certain things I look at. I look at games like look at Manchester United. Manchester United has lost in very many games. You get? They have a very better squad than Arsenal, but their players down tools. But the reason as to why I'm so much benching and leaning to Arsenal is Arsenal's players are playing for the manager. You get? He managed to clear out all the players. He never wanted out of the team, and then he brought in players that are playing for him. You see, Gabriel Magalhaes, if he was not playing for the manager, he would have gone to Juventus or Real Madrid or any other team that was calling for him. You get? But that's not the case. Magalhaes is here to play for the manager. So to me, I will believe that. Cossy, the other games that Arsenal lost and drew, I don't remember them very well. You get?
Yeah.
But if Arsenal brings in four players, trust me, they are going to clinch 90 points. They can, because Arsenal, first and foremost, they don't concede goals anyhowly.
Yeah.
They have a good organized defense, you get? And when it comes to creativity, Arsenal has good creative players. Even Bukayo Saka is not selfish. Martinelli, non-selfish. Emily Smith-Rowe, non-selfish, you get? So when they really bring in two center forwards, a decent CDM and a decent center back, oh my God, we will be here next season. You'll hear. And the likes of Man City, have they brought in Haaland, you know, there are certain things people don't want to hear. Man City can lose to a very bogus team. Look like today. If Steven Gerrard had composed himself very well, City was going to be beaten.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah. I think, but I think, Gerrard didn't try to get the game in line in terms of game management and everything like that.
That's it. And I'm not saying this that I'm just jealousing Arsenal and really trying to make Arsenal fans be okay. No, yeah, Manchester United, I'm just trying to smear some butter onto Arsenal because we want them to be there where they are, because we are really going to have a very good turn-up season as Manchester United. But I will believe this is really going to happen to Arsenal's side. And I know they're going to bring those signings. On the side of Manchester United, because you asked me, Arsenal and Manchester United.
Yeah.
I told you, it's time for the fallen giants to raise. We look at Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag, when he comes in, he has come in, he's going to talk to us tomorrow on Tuesday. I know he's really going to get in the players that we did at Manchester United. And to me, I don't agree in giving him time, because United is not like any other player. It's not like any other team that, like Klopp found Liverpool. Liverpool was so much down in quality. You get? But United really has some good players. Just need to fix him.
Yeah, and I think one thing I agree with Ralph Rangnick is that United are not so far away from bringing them back.
That's it. They're not far away from bringing us back, because I was telling someone, who was I talking to? I was telling people that if at all United brings in like De Jong, because De Jong has taken off Barcelona off his Twitter bio and Instagram, it's no longer there. If they bring in De Jong and they bring in like a Ruben Neves, then a Christian Eriksen, and to me, I disagree with very many other people. And they said that, all right, 4 players. Like you bring in a Julian Timber, De Jong, who else? Neves. I really believe that if I told United want Neves will come to United, because the captain of the national team plays for Manchester United. There is Diego Delo, there is Bruno Fernandes. I really believe that even the agent, I think the agent of Bruno, I think his agent is he Mendes?
Yeah, I think it's Judge Mendes.
Judge Mendes.
Sure, yeah, but I think it's Judge Mendes.
I will believe that if we bring in those 4 players, Julian Timber, central defender who plays at who can play as a centre back, you bring in Christian Eriksen, because I will believe that Bruno does not run that midfield. When you have a Christian Eriksen, it will be a different case altogether. United with the midfield of De Jong, Bruno, Neves.
But you already have Van der Beek as well. I think Van der Beek is a great player as well.
Yes, he's a great player. But what I want about Eriksen is his seniority. You get?
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe that.
In a season like this, you need a player that is going to do something like Juan Mata is doing and is going to give it to you, at least in those games. Because for me, every game, when United is playing Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, I would start Eriksen ahead of Dan Van Beek and Bruno, because I know what it does. In those games, you just need that person who's really going to create something out of nothing. And that is the kind of player you get. So I don't agree with people saying that United should go in and get in a centre forward. Why spend close to £60 million on a centre forward, yet you have other people that can come in and do that? You get? Because Antoine Martial, when you keep him, he can do it. Ronaldo has shown you that he can do it, because I don't believe Ronaldo is going to play so much in the groups of the UEFA Europa League. He will only play 1 game a week. You get?
Yeah.
Rashford, Martial, they can come up and do that job very well. So I will believe that when you get in those players, and we really play very well, and we don't have these other players in there that have really let our season down by really downing tools, disorganizing the dressing room, I will believe that Manchester United and Arsenal. You get?
Yeah.
There is a team I'm seeing out of the top 4, but most people have not yet seen it.
Chelsea?
Of course. They're in total trouble. I heard of something that the former owner, Abramovich, said. He said that the amount of money he's manning Chelsea, he wants that money on a certain offshore account.
Yeah.
When the United Kingdom really did their thorough research, they got to know that particular account that Abramovich wants money to be deposited, Abramovich has shares in it. And they said, no, we're not going to deposit that money. Now, the takeover of Chelsea is still in line. It's still online. It's not yet over. And is it 30th June? There is a period they gave us. Is it 10th June? If it doesn't, you might even see Chelsea out of the Champions League. And you might find us in the Champions League. That is possible.
But look, I think they'll sum it up. I think they'll sum it up. The problem is that it has a lot of financial, knots tied here and there.
And you think even if they sum it up, will they sum it up early enough for Thomas Tuchel to prepare his squad?
I'm not really sure, because at the moment they are not supposed to sign players, and that's why many of their players are actually leaving on a free.
And I will believe that if at all really Arsenal and Manchester United were so much organized and consistent this season, Chelsea wouldn't have qualified for the Champions League, because they've dropped very many points. They've dropped
a lot.
Very many points.
A lot of points. They've dropped so
to me,
many
I will
points.
feel like when you look at how Arsenal and Manchester United are reorganizing themselves, the only teams that are safe in the top 4 are Liverpool and Man City, because for them, you know that they can give you this run you get until the end of the season. So I really believe that Manchester United and Arsenal are really going to be the teams to watch next season. A shocker is coming next season. If there is a shocker, either Manchester United or Arsenal is going to shock the Premier League positively. You get? Though right now I don't want to say it, because I don't feel okay when Arsenal does well, but when that's it. I must be open. I don't feel okay when Arsenal does well. You get? Yeah. I can't feel okay. And I celebrated, by the way, when you guys never went to the Champions League. Do you know what would have been here when you guys are qualified for the Champions League? I celebrated.
I know.
Celebrated because you guys will have shouted all over us. You Team Europe, Manchester United Europa League, Arsenal in the Champions League. I know what would have been there. So to me, I will believe that. I don't want Arsenal to do well as a Manchester United fan, but as a person who analyzes the game of football, Arsenal is like 10 foot ahead of Manchester United because what Arsenal has, we know it. We know what Arsenal has in store. You get? We don't know whether these Manchester players are really going to cope up with Eric Ten Hag as soon as possible. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who is leaving, who is staying, apart from Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba, Nemanja Matic. One matter threw in a shocker recently that before he really decides his future at Manchester United, he has to first meet the manager. You get? So such things as well as Manchester United. Can you imagine?
So you could have had one matter be stay around.
Yes, it's possible. So you don't even Paul Pogba can make a turnaround.
Yeah,
because Pogba is going to talk to him.
Yeah, but I think Pogba will go. The financial structure of that deal is it's just ridiculous.
So I will believe that. For Arsenal, I'm sure. That's why Glenn has laughed at me when I say that Arsenal can clinch 90 points. Because even if they are going to play in Europe, that's not a case to answer. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool has been playing in how many competitions? 4 competitions. They only had one addition in their squad. That is Luis Diaz. But they've managed to stretch until the end of the season, and they still have almost all their players here. That means, look at Arsenal. UEFA Europa League, in the group stages, you won't need to start most of your players. If Bernard Leno stays, you can start with Bernard Leno, Cedric Soares, Nuno Tavares, Rob Holding, and another central defender. You can play Lokonga, you can play El Nini, you can play Emily Smith-Rowe in the holding in the central attack midfield role. Then you can play this player Marquinhos. You can play the second striker that Arsenal is going to sign. You can bring in the Charlie Patinos and really enjoy. And they bring the party home. It's possible. It's only going to get serious when Arsenal is at the round of 16 quarterfinals. That's when it's going to get serious. And it gets serious around February. And if at all Arsenal really makes a very good corner in the December, where it almost bottles things up because the history of Arsenal is known. November, December, that's when Arsenal spoils things. If Arsenal really makes a very good corner, I really believe they are really going to put up a show. They shocked me this season. They've shocked me in those 3 games. Chelsea, Manchester United, and West Ham. That was a pure shocker to me from Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, if we can stop bottling it, that's the question. I mean, with clubs, the moment you get into, you remember United with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and semi-finals.
Yes.
It could, the moment you get into that mode, you could start, bottling important games. For example, the 3 games we lost before winning against Chelsea United and West Ham, those games, literally winning one of them today, just having 3 more points would take us to the UEFA Champions League. So if we can stop, if we can stop the bottle jobs, if we can stop, bottling games for fun, if we can become serious when we have to be serious, I think probably I do not feel we will get to the level you are proposing, but I still feel Arsenal will have a good chance. We'll really have a good chance.
All right, but Cossy, there is a debate that is unsettled.
Yeah.
I said it on my channel, Rokan Media Football. I said it.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous.
Mm.
Most of Arsenal fans won't want to listen to it.
Okay.
I said it last time when you last did this. I think it was Arsenal versus Manchester United.
Yeah.
I have a feeling in me, if Nuno Tavares gets the development that he deserves, you get?
No one is going to listen to you on that.
He'll kick out.
No one is going to listen to you on that.
Position of Arsenal, and Tavares will take over.
No one is
saying if he's well developed.
I do not know if I don't know, but tomorrow if I get time, I'm going to do an Arsenal keep or sell, and I will do it live because it doesn't make any sense when you do it when you upload it. I'll do it live so that the lads get involved, and you will see when we get to Tavares. Tavares for me, there is a flair in there. I've said it. I've already said it. Probably could use a loan deal because he's so wild and so raw, and everything like that. I've seen Arsenal looking at Aaron Hickey and a couple of other players, showing that they wanted Tino Livramento as well, showing that they need a backup left back. I think with Tavares, there is a lot he needs to learn. There is a lot he needs to learn. I mean, he wants to become the kind of Joao Cancelo, very, very good in the final third. But to be that, you need to be so clean, and he's not clean. He's not that clean.
But one thing that you guys have not done to this young man is, first and foremost, mind his age, where he's coming in from.
Yeah.
He's coming in an Arsenal team that is really young. You get? I will believe that if Mikel Arteta gets in this ball in the field of play and he tells one of the players that plays in the midfield that each and every time you see him really go on and play or going forward, you should watch that space that he leaves and stand in it, because that's what Man City does. They know that Cancelo moves a lot. So either Fernandinho or Pedri needs to watch that space. You get? And I will believe that this lad, there is a player in Tavares. There is a player.
Yeah.
It's like, Cossy, tell me of a modern fullback who, when he's going forward, doesn't widen the pitch, but narrows it down. That boy is brave. Every time he gets the ball, he passes across the center. He doesn't go wide. Yeah. You get? You see, Cancelo is good, but whenever he gets that ball, he goes wide. Trent Alexander-Arnold does the same. Robertson. The only person, is it Cucurella, that left back of Brighton?
Brighton, yeah.
Cucurella, Brighton. He tries to, but I will believe that the excitement that boy brings to Arsenal. You get? That's why when Arsenal lost to Brighton, they lost to those 3 games that Arsenal lost in a row with Southampton.
Palace, Brighton, and Southampton.
Yes, I told people that Arsenal lacked that boy. He lacked that because that boy adds a lot when Arsenal is going forward. You get? And in most of those games, Arsenal never scored and it conceded. So what was the reason of not playing him? And then the coach realized it earlier and then brings him on the field of play. And even today, I think he has played very well. I've not watched the entire game of Arsenal, but how has he played today?
Look, not that bad. I think Everton were. I said it during the start of the game. Everton set out to be a little bit, conservative. I think they were fatigued. They were still fatigued. The celebrations, the beer, and everything.
Even the energy that you put up in that game of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, even the energy. The energy they used against Palace. But look, when he can find a player who can cover him, and his role is to go up front, he does well. And I think Mikel Arteta signed him intentionally because he knows Tomiyasu doesn't go up front. Tomiyasu literally plays as a very, very narrow fullback. So the only fullback that goes up front is the left back. It's either Kieran Tierney or Nuno Tavares. Today he's played well, but the problem, consistency. He cannot give you those games consistently, right? Like in the Newcastle game, he takes a foul throw and, Arsenal concede and people are fuming. It was the same against Liverpool. I think he made a mistake against Manchester United in the first leg. So if he can clear out those mistakes, become a little bit more solid and good at deciding, because at times he over dribbles the ball, at times he overruns the run, at times he shoots when he doesn't need to shoot, at times he cuts inside and shoots with the wrong foot. At times the shots are so wild. I think it's a player that needs a lot of harnessing.
I don't think you need a lot of panel beating, but Cossy, on that real point, there is someone in the comment section saying which players are we likely to sign. Sorry, Arsenal. I'm not an Arsenal supporter. Which players are Arsenal likely to sign? So, do you think it would be wise for Arsenal to go in for a left back to deputize Kian Tierney and loan out Nuno Tavares?
For me, for the better of the player, definitely, I think it would be. If you can give him to a club like a club that has probably plays under less pressure and are interested in a player in a player who's definitely going to offer them. Like I would give him to Leeds. You see how Leeds play very, very open kind of football. Look, that kind of football that just allows young players to expose themselves and express themselves. I would give him to Leeds, and I think he would develop very, very well better there. With Arsenal, Kieran Tierney is a player who, when he goes away, it is so hard to fill his shoes. He's like Thomas Partey. It is so hard to fill the shoes of Kieran Tierney because Tierney is our number one crosser of the ball, and you can imagine our number one crosser of the ball, but he's not a defensive liability as well. So I'll let him go on loan to Leeds for one season, and probably bring in a player like anyone we can bring in, but I'll bring in someone who's more reliable.
Cossy.
Yeah.
Then you are going to cause a problem like is at Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
The problem at Manchester United is that there are players who think that they are supposed to start ahead of others. I really believe that the structure that Mikel Arteta is putting up is good. Look at Jurgen Klopp, what he did at Liverpool. The first 11 of Liverpool, there is no way you compare it with the second 11 of Liverpool. The players that play the first 11 of Liverpool, you cannot compare them with those that really play, that are really on the bench. That's why you've never had any Liverpool player querying for playing time. You get?
Yeah.
But when you will bring them to the system that Klopp built, they really fit in and they really promise you that they are good as the Salahs, the Manes, you get?
Yeah.
But the fact is, when you look at the midfield three of Liverpool that played against a side which goes by names of Southampton, was it Southampton? Where they won 2-1.
Yeah.
They had Curtis Jones, James Milner,
Harvey Elliott.
Naby Elliott was Naby Elliott. Those three.
They had Harvey Elliott.
You cannot compare those three with Fabinho,
Alcantara,
and Naby Keita. You get?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you, that Arteta is trying to do something that a team like Man City, sorry, not Man City, because most Man City players almost the same. A team like Liverpool are doing. When you bring in a player who is equally the same as Kian Tierney, then you're really going to have trouble. He will always keep asking for playing time. Please, I want to play because I will feel like when I go in that field of play, I'm going to deliver. And that's what breaks down the dressing room. And I really believe that Mikel Arteta is doing it very well. He has players that are not going to complain for playing time. Look at Martinelli. He waited for his chance, got it, utilized it.
Yeah.
Look at El Nini. Even when the manager never even put him on the bench when Thomas Partey got an injury and was playing with Lokonga and Grant Xhaka, he was so much okay with it. And when they brought him on in that game against Chelsea, do you know what he said? Post-match interview, he said, I'm here. If at all Arsenal needs me, I'll stay.
Yeah.
And today we have news that they've gotten him a new contract, 1 year, plus an option of another year in there. So,
which is a mistake. Which is a mistake for me.
No, it's not a mistake, because if Arsenal brings in Ayefis Besuma, you get? Because Elneny is not going to complain for playing time. He's not going to complain for playing time. He's not.
Yeah,
You
but
get?
for me right now, I feel we are at a level. You might not bring in someone who's similar to Partey or equal to Partey, but I think we are at a level where we can afford to have a player like Partey, and then alongside him, we sign a player like Enoch Mwepu from Brighton, and Enoch Mwepu sees you through the Europa League group stages. But can Elneny see you through the Europa League group stages? Yes, he can, but I'm not sure. I'm not really that sure.
No, Elneny stays. See this. Cossy, I've not heard very many people talk about this in their podcasts on YouTube. But
Yeah.
there is something that people are just not giving enough. Barcelona has conceded the second goal. Villarreal has 2, Barcelona has 0. So just an update.
Yeah.
But people have not yet looked into this. That next season in the Premier League, it's shifting from 3 substitutions to 5.
Yeah,
Have
it
people
is.
given
Yeah,
that
it is.
an eye? You get? That means a team must be having lots of players. And the team that is going to be having more players is going to come in and can get back into the game in the last 10 minutes. Just imagine a team bringing 5 players. Let me give an example. Like Man City. You get? They bring on you get? They bring on
Ika Gundogan comes on. Phil Foden
Sterling,
comes on.
Phil Foden comes on. They bring on 5 Bernardo Silva, 5 quality players. You get?
It changes the game. It changes the game because you're bringing on 5 quality players with fresh legs, fresh ideas. Yeah, I mean, look for me.
Something that
Honestly, I cannot wait to start my my 9-9 podcast because there are things I want to really debate about, like FIFA. We have a problem with the Super League, but we have a problem with FIFA. 5 substitutions. Honestly, why?
yes, to me,
Why?
yeah, to me, I would believe that it's time for 5 substitutions to be
A
because
World Cup in Qatar. Why? Those.
It's not for the World Cup in Qatar because when you look at the Serie A, La Liga, there's Bundesliga, they still make 5 substitutions still now after COVID. You get?
Yeah.
Cossy, do you know what? Do you know how it hurts when you spend a lot of money on a player and you don't use him? And most times we find it hard, as managers find it hard in the Premier League to make substitutions. Reason, they are limited. You get? But when you have 5 substitutions, you won't come in here and say, all right, we never had my players, we are tired. So it's okay to say that, all right, let me, like Liverpool today, they would have said Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, Luis Diaz, all of those players be on the bench because he knows I can bring in 5 more. But when you have only 3 spots, you only have 3 buttons to press. You get? So to me, I really believe that it's okay. Let them be 5. Even if it's 6, I can really admit because players are paid a lot of money.
Yeah, players are paid a lot of money, but when it comes to football, I'm kind of this guy who wants kind of things to stay the way they have been. I tell you, we've seen some good improvements, like you see this this kind of wash and go, that spray that they spray the referees spray on the bed. Seriously, take it out of the game.
They can't. Do you know why?
It makes money. It makes money.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because it brings in money.
It does not bring in money, but
no. It is money, Rokan. It is money. It is someone. No. You can't convince me. You can't convince me that
came in from Brazil. It came in from Brazil. Do you know why?
No.
Do you know why?
No.
1, players that make the wall when the referee redirects it. You get? Most times they wouldn't be where the referee has told them to be. You get? They move forward. And secondly, even this person who is shooting can move that ball either close. You get? So the reason as to why that thing was brought on, it was a scenario that took place in South American football, I think.
Yeah.
I think a team conceded. Was it relegated or it won the title? I think it was in Brazil. And that really led to one of the Brazilians to really go in and cook the brain and bring it there. And by the way, it's good to be there. It has no problem.
Rokan, those inventions in football are okay, right? But
Yes.
my problem is that they make the game look too plastic. They make the game to look. We have VAR.
For VAR, to me, you are right, because it's inconsistent.
Exactly. We have to
If
wait
it was
for 5 minutes.
it would have been okay, but it's inconsistent. But for the spray, it's consistent.
It is inconsistent, and you have to wait for 3 minutes to go and celebrate. Literally, the vibe in the goal is gone, and that spray. Just keep it out. Just take it out. Let it stay in Brazil.
Okay, because it's consistent. For me, my worry and my claim comes in on the VAR because it's inconsistent. I've seen very many goals being given and others not being given. Penalty kicks. You get penalty kicks.
And you know that these inventions are not going to go away because
they are not.
Yeah, they are worth billions. Yeah.
Do you know one that I hate?
Yeah.
They started to discuss to get throw-ins out of the game. Each and every throw-in is going to be a free kick. So for that, I don't like. Let them not bring it.
You see, look. I mean, there are things that I look at, like the new handball game and the new offside game. So the new offside rule is that you have to first score and then we review. You understand?
Yes. For that, Cossy.
Yeah.
We used to watch football way back.
Yeah.
When teams could score offside goals, and I don't know whether and super people in Zagi
and Filippo Inzaghi would have been
scored way back if at all VAR was here. And Cosmas.
Yeah.
The reason as to why VAR was brought into this game, it started way back in the World Cup of 2010.
Yeah.
England versus Germany.
Yes.
Frank Lampard hits that ball, it kisses the bar,
it goes over the line,
goes past the goal line,
yeah,
and gets back onto the field of play. And the referee says it's not goal. And you know how much the English do yap.
Yeah.
They yapped and shouted. And do you know what's worse? They're the ones heading the committee that really amends the rules and regulations of this game of football. The English. So they pushed it and they said if at all that goal had gone in, it would have been 2-1 and England would have come back. You never know.
Yeah.
So after all that, they brought in VAR. For VAR for offside, it's okay. But me, where I hate VAR,
the penalty
and red card. I hate it.
Yeah. And so have you seen the new handball rule?
It's stupid.
It's stupid. United conceded a goal. I think it was against Middlesbrough or any other team in the Carling Cup. The guy controls the ball with his hand, then assists it, and then it's a goal. And yes, and it's a goal because he controls the ball but doesn't score but assists. And so it happens that if you assist after a handball, it is not handball. Seriously, that's why for me, these plastic parts of the game are just ridiculous. Just keep them out of the game. Just keep them out. Just let it be. Let us stay with the liner and the referee. When the liner says no goal, it's no goal. When the liner says goal,
and secondly, where I hate it from is why doesn't the referee go in? It's the referee to call. Why doesn't the referee call to go on the side monitor? Why is it always the man in the box calling the referee?
And let me tell you, if VAR see it as a penalty and they tell him to go to the monitor, it's always a penalty.
I've never seen a referee turn it down.
No, he never. When they tell him to go to the monitor, it's always a penalty. Look, the Tottenham game that we lost 2-3-0.
3-0.
I looked at the referee. He goes to the monitor, and then he comes and he's like, "Is this a penalty?" It takes a second and like, "Yeah, I'll just give it." And I'm like, seriously, do you need
After that Spurs game that you lost,
Yeah,
we watched a game of Man City and Real Madrid in the Champions League.
yeah.
If it was the referee that really officiated that game of Arsenal, he would have sent off 3 Real Madrid players in a space of 6 minutes. Casemiro, Madrid, and Toni Kroos. They wouldn't have been able to play. You get?
Yeah.
When you're refereeing, you need some common sense to be applied. This is the most critical game of the season for these 2 teams. You get?
You don't give away. You don't just give such a cheap penalty for me. There is no
way you send off Callum Chambers. You get?
Yeah.
2 fouls and you send him off like that. You get? In such a game, you are raising the temperatures of the players.
Actually, Rob Holding, not Chambers.
Oh, sorry, Rob Holding. Holding. You send him off. To me, I've seen very many stupid decisions that VAR has taken. You get? Like the game of today, Manchester United. A player comes in, he's being flowed down. The referee just says, game on. So I hate it. There is Ruth Mugisa is saying, system change in football is the best. Penalty change, diving, broad downfall in Manchester United FC. That's why they finished the season 6. If not change, they would have finished. No way. But for the matter of fact, Cossy, do you know why she's saying like that?
Yeah.
She's saying like that because when VAR was initiated in the Premier League the first season, United got 16 penalties. You get?
There is one you got late after Brighton, against Brighton. Was it last season? Was it this season?
Last season.
Jesus Christ.
The referee blew the whistle to end the game. And then Manchester United flogged him and they called him to go to their side monitor. I had never known about that because I know when the whistle is blown, then the game is done. But
I think in Spain it also happened. I don't remember what happened, but the game had ended and they gave a penalty after the game had ended. You see, Rokan, why I hate technology in football? It kills the vibe in football. I want Norwich to beat Tottenham 1-0 at the end of the season, an offside goal, so that we can debate it for a week. But we are debating boring VAR. So what do we say about VAR? VAR is all we can do is get a VAR man and Photoshop him in an Arsenal or United shirt. That's all we can do. But
no,
it kills the vibe.
Do you know why?
It kills originality.
I will believe it kills originality, but you cannot fight change.
Yeah, you can't fight. Yeah.
The reason being, a lot of money is being injected. So a winner should win genuinely. You get? That's why they brought VAR. But sometimes they've taken decisions. The only VAR I've really seen very okay is that of the Champions League. I don't know how they do it. They don't call for penalties like that. You get? There is the way they really take their offsides and treat them when they're really analyzing the ball. It's different from how the Premier League does it. I really believe that Premier League should copy a leaf from the Champions League to make this game more and more enjoyable. Because when you look at the Champions League, it's very hard to cancel out a goal. It's very hard to really give a penalty that is not called for. In that game of Man City and Real Madrid, it really showed me that Premier League referees have really a very big problem because they make calls that are stupid. You get?
Yeah, and for me, I fear for football because if PSG can give a player 300 million to sign for them for 3 years, and PSG has breached FFP, financial fair play rules, and the CEO, I think, kind of CEO of PSG is sitting on the UEFA board that has to decide whether PSG has breached the rules. PSG is going to buy VAR one day and they win the UEFA Champions League like that.
No, they won't buy VAR, but do you know why they did it?
But they have the capacity. They have the capacity too.
No, let me tell you this. PSG, however much they have a CEO sitting on the board of UEFA, they are banned recently. You get for not buying the player after they brought in Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah.
They brought in Mbappe, they brought in Neymar, and then they brought in Mbappe at 197 million pounds. But they did it because they know when you stay with Mbappe, even if you are banned, you are not going to go in and really bring in more players. But the departure of Mbappe, he's going to go on for free. You get? So they needed to do anything to keep him. But you know they can sell him next season. They can sell him to Real Madrid.
Now, Madrid, I don't think Madrid can get anywhere close to that day because they are suing. They're suing PSG for breaching financial fair play.
La Liga sued, but they are going to ban PSG. It's not going to buy players for the next 1 or 2 years. That's it. You know, it's coming.
For me, it's ridiculous.
It's coming. But when you look at their squad, even if they don't buy any other player, they have other players they need. You get? They just need to see to it that the Mauro Icardi's really find themselves into the squad. The only player that is leaving is Di Maria, is the one that is leaving. The others are staying. When you look at the squad of a PSG, it's really good. You get? But what they did, I know football is going to go this side because there are players that really deserve this. When you look at Mbappe, he has worked it out. That's what he has worked it, or that's what Neymar came out and said. He's the best player, you get? Though my worry is one, he's sitting on his career. He's going to waste 3 years, and Erling Haaland is going to go far ahead of him because Erling Haaland has come in a league that's going to give him a lot of exposure, and the news is really going to be all over him.
Yeah,
and trust me, he's
provided he doesn't flop.
He's going to get those goals in. I know he's going to get those goals in. He's going to get them in. Unless otherwise, the injury that he got this season doesn't affect his career at Man City. But if it's scoring goals, I will believe that he's going to score these goals because what Pep is good at doing, he's good at molding a team at a young player.
Yeah.
When he found in Kun Aguero, he molded his team around Kun Aguero, not until Kun had nothing to give back on the pitch. Yeah. Now he's going to mold this team on Erling Haaland, and it's going to be helping Erling Haaland and working for Erling Haaland to come in and prosper. Because you cannot really put Haaland and Jack Grealish in the same basket because most people say that's how they brought in Jack Grealish. We thought he was going to come in and play. No, Jack Grealish is a slow player.
Yeah,
you get? And Man City really, they use a lot of pace when they're going forward. And I really believe that Erling Haaland is going to benefit a lot from how Man City plays because
I think he can play, for me, I think he can play in any system. City literally create tons of chances. Like he can, even if he want, he could just, he could choose to play only 10 games and score 10 hat-tricks, 30 goals, and he's done, and he's taken the golden boot.
To me, I will believe it. I will believe Haaland. If it's not the next season, but the season of 2023, 2024, he's going to break. He'll score 40 goals in the Premier League. One of those seasons, he'll score 40 goals. Only in the Premier League he will. He will, because when you look at how City, look at Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
28 games, 8 goals. You get? He got in a single game, he scored close to 4 goals.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus. I mean, look at Haaland is better than Gabriel Jesus. And I really believe that he's going to come in and do what we expect out of him. And that's why I really believe that we are really going to enjoy next season. Have you thought about the enjoyment you're going to have next season? Because, first and foremost, Cossy, this season when you're starting, you started on a low. Arsenal, fans really had hopes. There are those that really came in your comment section saying, Arsenal is going to win the Premier League, but they were minimal. Don't you remember them?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
They were heartbroken.
Yes, there is one from Ghana. Was he from Ghana or Nigeria? A guy that was really saying, you really used to bring him in where and he was saying, "Oh, we are going to win the Premier League." You get blah 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 blah. Now, every Arsenal fan, because I trust Arsenal in the transfer market, they are really going to bring in players that are really going to excite Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus is going to come. They can bring in a Yefis Besuma. They can bring in a decent centre back. They're going to bring in like 5 players. And now, by the time we go into the preseason, you are really going to see how Arsenal fans are going to be elated and having high expectations ahead of this season. Manchester United is going to do its business early enough. You get?
I wish you do.
It's going
Because
to be that. It's going to be that.
You know, the disadvantage of being in the Europa League for both of us is that you need a lot of, convincing to get players over the line.
No, it's not that. To me, I really rule that out. It's all about the negotiations. Trust me, what Mikel Arteta has put on the field of play at Arsenal can convince any player to come in at Arsenal and play, because Arsenal's plan is now clear. It's very vivid. You get? It's clear. You know that Arsenal plays a tiki-taka kind of football. They attack, they press. You know what Arsenal has for you. And it's very easy to convince a player to come in at Arsenal. And to me, I really believe that, Cossy, it's very hard for Man City and Liverpool, you get, and Chelsea to convince a player to go and pro for them. Do you know why? They have lots of players and quality. So how can you convince, like Yefis Besuma, you convince him that Arsenal is wanting you and Man City is wanting you and Chelsea. Sorry, Man City is wanting you, Chelsea and Liverpool. And then if at all you are really good and if at all your agent is really good and not money oriented and wants you to play football, you choose Chelsea, Man City or Liverpool. Yet you know that Liverpool has Fabinho and the captain, Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, and Thiago Alcantara in that midfield. They have Curtis Jones, one of the upcoming midfielders that I've loved at Liverpool. You cannot make such a choice. You cannot make a choice to go to Man City, however much they are losing. They are losing Ika Gundogan and Fernandinho. Because they really have the elite 3. Pedri, he called you Pedri? Rodri, De Bruyne,
and Bernardo.
And Bernardo. You get? Because for them, they play with one holding midfielder. Even it's Chelsea. Chelsea has N'Golo Kante, they have Kovacic, and they have Jorginho. Where are you going to play? But you look at Arsenal play with a 4-2-3-1. You get? They play with 2 holding midfielders. And Yefis Besuma is a holding and box-to-box midfielder. You get? So I will believe that. People have not looked at that. People front a lot the Champions League, but every player, it does not matter where you are playing at, provided you're getting enough playing time. Look at Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake was a very good player, but Man City has swallowed him because he cannot compete with Laporte, John Stones, and Ruben Diaz. To me, I really believe that it's easy for Manchester United and Arsenal to get players because for them, they really have space for these players to come in and play. But Man City, the only player that can go to Man City are the Haalands because they know, obviously, we are going to go in and play. You get? Julian Alves came in through because he's excited, just excited. He's coming in from Brazil. But any player who wants to get playing time, you get? Trust me. You can't get enough playing time at a side which goes by names of Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. That's what, by the way, Erik ten Hag said. They asked him, why did you go for the job of Manchester United that looks to be hard? He said, at Manchester United, if things go well and I really make things happen, I'm really going to be a legend. So any good player, any understanding player, why do you choose to go to a team that has already made news and made it, and you're not going to be appreciated? You rather go to Arsenal, where you're going to be appreciated for the change you are going to go on and demonstrate on the field of play. And we believe that when Yefis Besuma drops into that midfield of Arsenal, it's going to be a different midfield altogether. Yuri Tielemans, talk about him. If I'm Tielemans, I cannot go to Man City. Liverpool, I either choose Manchester United or Arsenal because I know when I go into those teams, I'm going to start immediately.
Yeah, you get the
Tielemans
games.
will start in Arsenal midfield.
I think with Tillemans, he knows that. I'm really surprised to how close he's really linked with Arsenal. I thought he would be only on the radar of Champions League teams, but I
That's
think it's considering Champions League football as well.
Cossy, you know, journalism has changed.
A lot.
And I really want to hear out some journalists coming out who really has a voice to come up with the thinking I have. You get? You look at this other guy that came in from France and is playing for Real Madrid, the French guy that has dreads, that young guy.
Camavinga.
When you look at Camavinga, he has every reason to go to snap Manchester United and go in for snap Manchester United, Arsenal, and Real Madrid. Do you know why? He went to Real Madrid when he's 18. You get? So when you are 18, you still have lots of time to wait for the likes of Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, and Casemiro to go to get your space. You get?
Yeah.
But when you are Yefis Besum, I think he's 23, 24 years of age, or Yuri Tillemans, 24, 25, you can't go to a team to wait or to be an understudy. You have to go to a team when you're going to start. I really want to hear the Fabrizio Romano's coming out and saying that no, it's not Champions League football. It's because every player's aim is to go into a team to play football. Look at Danny Van Beek. You think he's okay?
Yeah.
He's not okay. You get? However much he came to say that was playing Champions League football, did he play any game?
No,
did he get enough playing time? He did.
Yeah.
So
he actually
every
decided
player,
to go to Everton.
and trust me, Arteta has proven to all players outside Arsenal that he's shown interest in that. Trust me, every player I've brought at Arsenal, I've given him enough playing time. And there is no player at Arsenal that Mikel Arteta brought in that is complaining about playing time. All of them have gotten ample playing time. And that is really, tell me a factor better convincing than that.
No, I mean, if you're a player and you really care about your career, game time should be the first thing.
Yes, it's first.
There is nothing. Game time should be the first thing.
You can't tell me, unless otherwise Bernardo quits Man City, then Tielemans will say, all right, let me go to Man City. But according to how I know Arsenal, you get? And how they do their deals. If they get Tielemans or Besuma, I really believe that one of those is going to go at Arsenal. I know he's going to go at Arsenal. And Arsenal is really going to be an exciting side. You get?
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting side next season. Because I think if at all they have been boiling, the boiling point is at 75%. And if at all they reach 80% performance in next season, they're really going to be a very hard side to beat. Because this time around, Mikel Arteta knows that the reason as to why I've lost is the losses I've made. 13 losses this season, very unbelievable.
And the draws.
Yes. And he knows that I've matched Liverpool. And the reason as why Liverpool has beaten me is because of lack of enough quality. Yeah. Man City has beaten me because of that. Chelsea beat me the first leg because of that. And I really believe that this time around is going to really prepare himself a lot. And COVID really did him bad at the start of the season. And I really believe that things are really going to go on very well. Remember, Arsenal fans, I'm predicting, if I told you bring in 4 players, 2 center forwards, 1 holding midfielder, and a central defender, Arsenal will clinch 90 points next season.
Rokan thinks we can win, we can go up to 90 points next season. I think we are a little bit early for that. But of course, lots of podcasts coming your way on Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Make sure you join us on a daily basis. I'm always here live. I'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. That is the time you guys chose. So that we should come live 11. 10 is a little bit early. So 11 is fine. And of course, in the afternoon, you always have a live stream, and in the evening, and lots of uploads, especially around transfers. We will be summing up the season as well tomorrow, talking about whether we have had really a good season or a bad one, rating the players, who we sell, who stays, and of course, before we get into who comes in, there's going to be a lot. There will be a lot. I've seen a couple of stories flying around that El Neni signed a new contract, and Mikel has been reacting to Lacazette, Edin Ketia, and all those players that we expect to leave. Make sure you follow Rokan at United Matters Podcast, at the United Matters channel, and the Rokani
Rokan Media Football.
Rokan Media Football as well. So make sure you watch him. I'm preparing something, like I said, on 99 Sport. Should be having very heated footballing debates before the season. We'll be there with Rokan predicting where everyone will start and who has had a very, very good transfer window. We're gonna sign out. Good night.
You guys have to have a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, a lot. I think
Arsenal have a reason to celebrate. But United, can I tell you something fun about United?
Yeah.
The only positives that we got today, Liverpool not to win, because I was here watching this game and said, oh my God, Liverpool is going to win, because the moment, if at all Liverpool had really gone ahead to win the Premier League, it was a sure deal
that they were going to win
out there and put their bodies online to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
You get? And that means they're going to win a quadruple. You get? And even if they win 3 trophies, that's not a complete treble. Because
it's a complete treble. They have won two local titles and the UEFA Champions League.
Even Man City never won a complete treble. There was a season where they won the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and the Premier League. You get? But it's not the treble that United won. There is something missing. If you win a treble, there must be 3 ingredients: an FA Cup, Champions League, and the league.
But why? But why? A treble is 3. If someone wins 3 titles, they should.
The yardstick that was said, if at all United or Arsenal won a treble, they won the Champions League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup, that would have been the first treble in the English history. But the first treble set in the English history was a league title, an FA Cup, and a Champions League. So to cancel it out, you either have to level us or win a quadruple. You get? And I'm very much happy. However much my nemesis says, the noisy neighbors have won it, but at least it's better for them to win it, because Liverpool would have leveled us in the number of league trophies that we have. They're at 19. If at all they won this time around, they would have gotten 20. Secondly, Arsenal not going to the Champions League. I liked that a lot. I'm going to sleep with a very peaceful heart. But do you know how it would have been? Liverpool wins the Premier League. Arsenal qualifies for the Champions League. Oh my God. I would have had nightmares throughout the night. Oh my God. I thank God for that. And thirdly, lastly, Brighton going ahead to do a job for United.
Oh my God. West Ham, those wallets, those pricks.
And I was here when West Ham led first.
Yeah. I was like, yes.
I said, how can Arsenal be in the UEFA Europa League and United be in the Conference League? That's out. At least let us be in the UEFA Europa League. At least I can come in here and I really talk to Cossy that at least however much we've had a bad season, and Cossy tells me United have had a bad season, and Arsenal tell him, what have you won? Nothing. Are you in the Champions League? No.
But we are 11. We are 11 points above United. 11 points.
Let me tell you,
11 points above United.
What would have justified that if United never qualified for the UEFA Europa League? But all of us are going to be playing on Thursday.
Yeah, and look, you know the truth. I never wanted you to go to the UEFA Conference League because you would have won it and you would have gotten yourselves an easy title, and Arsenal would be struggling in the Europa League. I want us to play the final. Arsenal United, we win it.
As far as Arsenal stands right now,
Listen.
It can beat us. It can. I admit, as Arsenal is standing right now, they can beat us. But let me wait and see how Eric Ten Hag is going to do these things. If at all he really gets in the players that we feel like he's going to get in, Cossy. Do you know what I'm praying for? I'm waiting for that fixture, Premier League fixture. Why don't we have an open of Manchester United and Arsenal at Emirates? Have you thought about this?
No, look, it won't be interesting because
it will.
Listen,
it will.
Listen. By the time you have the league opener, some signings have not been signed. Some players have not yet settled. It should be within the first 7 games.
Cossy,
7 games.
Cossy. If the Premier League to kickstart off, because trust me, however much there is a rivalry between Manchester United and Liverpool, people don't feel it. Because most of the people that are supporting football right now came in the 2000s when Arsenal and United were really tie to tie. You get?
Yeah.
So to me, I really want that back.
You know,
when I saw Arsenal do a rebuild, I felt happy because I know for United it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that. And when Arsenal is doing a big rebuild, I will feel like next season it's going to be vibed up because Arsenal is really going to be on a high, and we pray that United really gets back where it's supposed to be. Then you're not going to hear Man City or Liverpool into this. It's going to be Manchester United, Arsenal, because I really believe that we are really going to have a very competitive season. And this time round, you'll see the winner having close to all 95, followed by another one with 92. And I will believe that for the very first time, we're really going to be having like 3 teams in the top 4 tied around 90 points, having 9 points plus. So that's what I will believe.
Guys, this podcast is not going to end today, but have a blessed night. Make sure that you write, because Rokan says 4 teams next season: United, Arsenal, City, Liverpool will all clock 90 points. What kind of league will that be? I mean, I want to say it. I want to say it.
Now, Cossy, lastly, before we sign out, look at Liverpool, look at Chelsea.
Yeah.
If Chelsea are consistent enough, they would have hit 90 points this season. Fact or fiction?
They would have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next season it's going to be possible because I've ruled out Chelsea. Yeah. Either Manchester United or Arsenal. They'll hit 90 points. They'll join that league of Liverpool and Man City, because Man City and Liverpool are coming back to duplicate the blueprint they've done this season. Bye-bye.
Guys, have a blessed night. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll talk about all the new transfer rumors around El Neni, around Lacazette, and anything new that crops up in the morning. I never sleep. I'm always online.